You think that would be a good idea? Okay. We have everybody? All
We
right,
do.
all right. I call this meeting to order. This is the New Paltz Town Board as Police Commission on July 17th at 6:04 PM. And I need approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Do you have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Don't we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance for this one?
We don't normally do the pledge at the
You
police
don't?
commission.
Okay, we will. You'll get a chance to do it later. Okay, do we have anyone here for public input for the police commission?
Anybody here want to speak?
For the police commission?
To the
Okay.
police commission.
Yes.
3 minutes, please.
I know.
Hi, my name is Sean Mary Scott, and I'm here to speak on behalf of one of the officers that have been accused of, at this moment, I don't want to speak of any names that, I don't think that's appropriate. But I do want to speak to the, police department to let them know that, his family wholeheartedly supports him. And, we would hope that we would get, some information regarding, what's happening in the process. There seems to be, a lack of, I think, communication within the department and the person that's being accused at this moment, and the person's not able to come and, say something on their behalf because they're not able to come to these meetings, because they work in this area. But I just wanted to say that, his family supports him. He's been an outstanding, officer. He's went to school here. This town knows him, and, we would hope that, all the stuff he's been accused of gets resolved, expediently. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here who wants to talk to the police commission? Okay. Okay, so, we're changing the order of the agenda. We're gonna do the police chief's report first so that, we can do that before we go into executive session. So people don't sit here wondering what's happening. So, Chief, would you like to give your report?
Surely. So I have 2 reports for this month. I have the month of May to review and then the month of June as well. For the month of May, we received 1 commendation. It was a written thank you from the New Paltz Women in Black, extending their thanks and appreciation for providing police presence at an informational event. We did not have any defensive action reports in the month of May, and we had 1 change in personnel, which was the hiring of part-time dispatcher Kevin Lundell. Unless any of you have questions about the training report or anything, that's all I have for May.
Okay. Let's see.
And 1 dispatch fire, right?
Yes, that was the part-time hiring of Kevin Lundell.
And was there conversations with police in May?
There was, yes. We
Okay.
hold the conversations with police every month, so we have 1 in May, we had 1 in June. We actually already had our 1 for July as well.
Are
Okay.
those well attended?
Not recently. It depends on, the place and time. We try and move them around different days, different times to try and accommodate different schedules. We've been doing the last couple we've done at Peace Park. In the past, we've done some at different coffee shops, but it's hit or miss.
Or maybe we can do a better job of helping you publicize where and when, because just for the public, this is an informal conversation with a member of our local police department, not in this kind of setting, just where the community can feel comfortable asking questions and interacting with our police department. Do you attend those?
And I was just gonna add to that, and I've been trying to mix it up and have it not just the chief of police that everyone. So I view it also as an opportunity for members of the public to meet different members of the agency. So depending on who's working that day, I may have it be a sergeant and an officer, it may be the lieutenant and a detective, so it's not just the chief of police that every month.
So
June?
they've had June.
This
No,
is,
no,
Oh,
I'm
you want
asking
the
your
June
June
report?
report.
this is the
Yes,
May report.
June report, I
Yeah.
can start right now.
Thank you.
So for the June report, we received 4 commendations, 2 thank yous, one from the VFW for our assistance in, the Memorial Day Parade. And the second one was a written thank you from a town resident, just thanking me for sitting down with him to discuss some concerns that he had. The next one is for Sergeant Judge, Officer Garone, and Officer Fazio. We received a written thank you from a mother, thanking them for the medical aid they provided to her son during a medical emergency. And the last one was just kind of an overall general thank you to the New Paltz Police Department as a whole, thanking all the members for repeatedly helping a village resident's child who's been dealing with some ongoing mental health issues. Those are 4 commendations for the month. We did not have any change in personnel in the month of June. We did have 1 incident involving defensive action reports. 3 reports were filed for the 1 incident.
What was that?
Yeah, I'm gonna go over, I'm gonna go
Okay.
over all of them now. So the incident happened on June 7th at about 9:30 PM. The subject involved was a 45-year-old male, approximately 6 feet 2 inches tall, 200 pounds, with a medium build, white male, non-Hispanic. The first report is from an officer stating he was attempting to take the subject into custody when the subject pulled away and became combative. At that time, the officer pushed him against the wall in an attempt to gain control of his arms.
You mean
Second.
his arms?
Gain control of his arms, yeah, in order to place him into handcuffs. The second one is from the sergeant, the supervisor that was on the scene. While the subject was against the wall, being combative and pulling his arms away from the officer, after giving him verbal commands to place his hands behind his back, the sergeant delivered 2 knee strikes to the subject's left thigh, and then took the subject to the ground using an arm bar, where he was subsequently handcuffed. And then the third report is from the second officer that was on the scene, and it stated while the sergeant and officer were effecting an arrest, when the subject was on the ground, she applied what we refer to as a leg lock or leg staple to stop the individual from kicking the officer and the sergeant.
And all of these were in accordance with policy and
Yes.
procedure?
Yeah, there was no deviations from policies or procedure, and they followed the training that they received.
And so you said it was at 9:30 PM,
9:30 PM, yes,
and was it, can you give us the general location?
Lower Main Street, in front of one of our local establishments.
Okay, in the village.
Yes,
Right.
and
So,
that's all I have
That
for
it?
the month of June, unless you have any questions about the training report or anything like that. That's all I have to report for June.
well, we do a lot of training.
That's certification required, right?
The
The trainings?
some are specific certifications that we have to go to, some are just, trying to be proactive and keeping people up on different trainings. You get to it, on my document.
Yeah, it's a big list.
Yeah, no, I saw it. You don't have to go through it. I was just
Yeah.
wondering if it's,
Some of them are required.
Yeah.
Some of them, actually, we list ones in here that are, different events, but quite a few of them also are our members teaching at the police academy. So there's multiple entries on here, for example, for Sergeant Judge, instructing our new officers with firearms at police academy.
And it looks like Officer Marsh also.
Yes,
Okay.
I did see, I don't know if that was June or July. During the, I guess it was Women in Black. I did see that there were 3 patrol cars at the, what is it that?
on Saturday.
I think
By
it
the
was a
library.
Saturday, yeah.
Yeah, that's when they hold their regular vigil, and like I've stated in the past, as long as call volume allows, we're gonna have officers or a supervisor in the area. And again, it's hit or miss, so I can't predict what the call volume is gonna be on a Saturday, but when it's possible, they try and make as much of a presence as they can.
So have you started your new community policing?
That's been going on a long time.
It's kind of new.
Yeah, so they
Rob used to do it.
they haven't attended an event together as a team yet, so to speak. Our national night out, is coming up August 5th. So that'll be their first, there'll be plenty more of us there, but the 5 of them that are on the community policing team will be there. And that'll be their first appearance, as the community policing unit, so to speak.
And, someone had asked about what you do about policing on the rail trails, the different, walking and biking trails, and apparently you do have presence there?
Yes, absolutely. Officers, on any given shift, officers are expected to walk for patrol. So it's not a guaranteed science or anything like that, but we aim for each officer to walk about an hour of foot patrol during their 8-hour tour. So with that, a lot of times it's in the village and they're encouraged, walk on the rail trail as far as reasonably possible because they're on foot. Can't go too far because they have to be able to get back to their patrol car in case they have to respond to a call. But officers walk foot patrol on the rail trail. We have officers that are certified on bicycles that bicycle on the rail trail and on the River Ridge. And also we have officers that are ATV certified that will occasionally go on the rail trail to get, the further away from town where you can't really get on foot in a timely fashion.
So we still have
Absolutely.
bicycles, yes, okay.
And the purpose of the pointer, what's the extent of their duties when they're doing that?
Really, it's just routine patrol, to be seen. If anyone has any questions, certainly by all means, wave them down and ask them a question, just wave and say hello. Yeah, they're just out, part of their routine patrols. Only certain officers can do it because not all officers have the training and certification to patrol on the bicycle or ATV, but any one of our officers can walk the patrol on the rail
Oh,
trail.
the ATV, can do too. Okay. All right. very
So
good.
I was the one who asked the question about the patrol because we're getting so many concerns from pedestrians, parents with strollers, about people just flying down the rail trail on their bikes, and they're not calling out on your left, they're not warning people. And I understand that it's not our police department's job to stop people and say, can you please read those rules that are clearly posted? But, if that happens to one of your police officers, would that be an occasion when they could flag down the person and say, wait, stop, you're supposed to let us know?
Yeah, I mean, and ultimately, again, I don't want to get too in the weeds kind of enforcing rail trail rules or river to ridge rules. But if one of my officers sees something that's a safety hazard, by all
Okay.
means, I would expect them to, hey, try and have a conversation. Ultimately, being
Okay.
perfectly honest, the person doesn't have to listen to us. They can be like, did I break the law? No. Okay, have a good day. But
Well,
Don't we have a bike
I think we
committee or?
do. I'm gonna go back and look
Yeah,
at that.
well-
I think that, but before I say anything else, I'm gonna go
Yeah,
back and
yeah.
look at the land trust rules.
yeah,
Okay.
Okay, anything else about the chief's police report, the chief's report? Both of them? No, very good. Thank you, sir.
absolutely.
Okay, so we now want to move into executive session for the purpose of discussing the work history of particular persons. I need a motion.
So moved,
And a second.
Do we have interviews scheduled?
yes. 2 gentlemen back there.
Okay. Is that,
That's what the executive session is for.
so we do interviews in executive session?
That is correct.
Oh, okay.
Do I have a
I
second?
knew. And it should.
Do I have a second? I
So-
second the motion. Do we have any more discussion? Any more discussion about going into executive session?
No.
Okay, on favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. And folks, we'll be back shortly. Oh, wait. Rosanna, can you hear it? Rosanna?
Yes, I can hear you.
The chair will entertain a motion to come out of executive session.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. At this point,
Edgar's on his way.
Okay, sorry, that's right.
where is he?
I think he's taking a nature break. But we do have a forum here, so.
All
We
right.
need to announce our absence. I think it'll be.
I just thought since we're going to make a motion, we should wait for Edgar.
Why does it say?
Well, I can still report out.
Okay.
I can still report out. And
And
then when
just
he
wait for
comes
the
back,
vote.
we'll make a.
There.
Okay.
The chair would like to report out that the commission is going to recommend to the board that the chief be given authorization to offer Patrick Ferry and Richard Farrow position as police officers in the New Paltz Police Department. At this time, the chair will entertain a motion for that recommendation to the town board.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Oh. Any discussion?
Clarification. When did the chair appointments occur?
She just asked me to do the
Somebody needs.
We need a chair.
procedure. So,
Okay. Permanent chair or?
No,
no, this is temporary.
the board.
Do you want to do it?
Okay. I'm interested in procedures.
Okay,
If we want to select the chair, then there should be a procedure in place for that.
yeah,
We need to do
Well-
that at our next meeting.
next meeting.
That's a good thing for our next meeting, is to get that process.
Any discussion on the recommendations for Mr. Ferry and Mr. Farrow? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Recommendation is approved. We'll make that at the town board meeting. Is there any other business? Is
I move we adjourn.
there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, chief.
Thank you all.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, at this time, I call to order the town board meeting of July 17th at about 7:07. And we'll begin with our pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Who would like to read our Indigenous land and labor acknowledgement?
I can do it. It's
Okay.
here. I'm looking at it.
Edgar,
it?
would you like to? No, Kitty?
Do you
I
have?
got it right here.
Yeah.
Do you want it?
Okay, go ahead.
The town of New Paltz humbly acknowledges that we are on the traditional lands of the Munsee, Esopus, and Lenape people. The Indian Removal Act of 1830 forced the people to relocate to inhospitable territory far from the bountiful valley and mountains we inhabit today. The town further acknowledges that much of the physical structures of our town and village was built by enslaved Africans who labored as the property of their owners until 1827 on this very land. We acknowledge the contributions, resilience, and accomplishments of the BIPOC community who have overcome historic injustice to inform our past and inspire our future. Please visit the resource library on our website to learn more. We encourage residents and visitors to learn more about the contributions and sacrifices made by the indigenous people and enslaved Africans by visiting these sites.
Thank you. Okay, before we approve the agenda, I'm going to make one change. item 9 is being struck from the agenda for tonight. All right. Do I have a motion to approve the amended agenda?
So moved.
I would like to, ask that item 19 be moved up. This is the, good trouble resolution from the supervisor. And I'd like you to read that into the record while we have so many people in our audience.
Okay, so the amended agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the amended agenda?
I make that motion.
Do I have a
Second.
Discussion?
Well, point of order, people, no one can hear, I can't hear, this is a public meeting.
Oh, we'll speak up. Thank you.
Can you afford a speaker system or something, and put that on the budget? If anyone can hear, I'm glad to hear.
Well,
I couldn't hear either, that's why I moved up.
Can't hear either?
we'll speak up,
He hasn't heard.
Okay. but that's a good reminder for us to speak up.
Thank you,
Right.
because at the table I had problems hearing. And I've requested in the past that we use the mic and speakers.
Randall may be talking about that soon. Okay.
Okay, I don't have that. I'm looking for the resolution.
Oh,
Because it's not in the. yeah,
it is. Let me find it for you. It's in our documents. And, if you open, can you open the portal?
No, I cannot.
All right, I will just pass this down to you. Here it is.
I've got his reports.
Here. That's up in there.
Okay. So today is July 17th, and it's a day that we are remembering and commemorating a person who was very important in this country's history in assuring that the voting rights, the rights that everyone should be entitled to, were freely available. And so we are proposing a resolution at the meeting of the town board here. And we can do the roll call. So this is a resolution offered by myself, the supervisor, Amanda Gatto, moving for its adoption. I need a second.
Second,
From Kitty Brown. The town board of New Paltz offers this resolution in support of Good Trouble Lives On, a national tribute to the heroic civil rights leader, Congressman John Lewis. This Good Trouble phrase was coined by Congressman Lewis. It's the action of coming together to take peaceful, nonviolent action to challenge injustice and create meaningful change. It's a day of nonviolent action at rallies, marches, teach-ins, press conferences, and vigils to demand that Congress fight back and protect our freedom to vote. There's an event that was going on here in New Paltz today, and we are here at this town board meeting and unable to take part in that, but we still recognize it. To get in good trouble, necessary trouble, and redeem the soul of America, that's the statement that John Lewis made at the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama on March 1st, 2020, commemorating the tragic events of what was known as Bloody Sunday. It occurred on March 7th in 1965 as peaceful protesters were beaten by law enforcement officers for crossing the bridge. Lewis and others like him, like Amelia Boynton Robinson, were beaten so badly they were hospitalized. On July 17th, the anniversary of Congressman John Lewis's passing, Americans are taking action across the country to defend our democracy and carry forward his legacy of good trouble. The town board of New Paltz expresses our solidarity with Congressman John Lewis's vision of America and his fight for justice, voting rights, and dignity for all. We now call for a vote to accept this resolution.
I move we accept it by acclamation,
Which means what?
which means
aye.
Everybody, okay? All in favor?
aye.
Okay, thank you. The resolution is thereupon duly adopted. You know, it's easy today in 2025 to think that voting rights are universal and we've all got them, and to not remember what it was like before, and to think we'll never lose those rights. But I think we need to stay very vigilant and remember that it is a right that all of us should share and share equally. Thank you. All right. We move now to announcements. Okay, the Office of Community Wellness is having a number of events for the community. Sunday Fun Day is July 27th at the Community Center. It's free. There will be food and children's activities and music and a lot of things from 12 PM to 2 PM. There's a Wellness Wednesdays happening from 10 AM to 11 AM at Hasbrook Park. The first one is July 23rd, which is Dance and Movement with Drew Andrews. And then there's one on July 30th, which is a yoga class. There's also painting at the Picnic Grove at Historic Huguenot Street on Thursdays between July 10th and August 7th. We currently have the following board committee openings for volunteers. The Planning Board, 2 primary members and 2 alternates. The Recreation Committee, 1 opening, and Ethics Board, 2 openings. If you're interested, please send your letter of interest and a resume to the assistant at townofnewpaltz.org. Very important right now, the Cooling Center is open in Kingston. It's the Second Iglesia La Misión Church on Elmendorf on Tuesday, July 15th to Saturday, July 19th from 9 AM to 7 PM. And Trudy Farber Building in Ellenville, Tuesday, July 15th to Friday, July 18th, 9 AM to 5 PM.
And Amanda, I believe that Ulster, the UCAT system will provide, free bus service from New Paltz to those centers.
Okay, the counties agreed to that?
I think it's on their route.
Okay, very good. The other thing is in August, early August, we'll be doing some testing of our stormwater systems and our sewers. It's called smoke testing. It's a visible means of checking for leaks. It's required by the Clean Water Act to make sure that our stormwater system isn't interacting and talking to our sewer system because it overburdens our sewer system. And so we want to make sure we find any leaks and make sure they're taken care of. Any other
What
announcements?
you need, people, are more coffee. You ought to have 3 or 4 cups of coffee and a speaker system here. If this is supposed to be a public meeting, when the public can't
Thank
hear
you.
and will not be able to speak. That's
Thank you,
all.
sir.
I came here because I thought there were some important issues about the police commission, and you clearly don't want us to know what's going on. You should just hold up.
Thank you.
Coffee, put that in your budget, you know, it's good for
We
you,
haven't-
it helps you speak.
So we haven't gotten
It
to
made
public
the
input
revolution
yet.
in the 18th century, the coffee houses, you need more coffee, caffeine, and speak
Okay.
up. As
Thank you,
if
sir.
were a person addressing.
I
other
would like to
people
add
who
an
are here or
announcement
whatever.
to this agenda, which is that
You win.
the DEC is holding public hearings on crypto mining, which is a giant, huge drain on our electric grid. Bitcoin mining consumes more energy and strains our resources than most of the large cities in New York State. If you want to know how to write into the DEC, I'm going to ask Rosanna to include a link in the minutes of this. But crypto mining is costing all of us a ton when we get our Central Hudson bill. So I will ask for Rosanna to get a link so you can write your comments to the DEC about that.
Any other announcements? Okay, thank you. Public input. Do we have anyone here who is signed up for public input or would like to? For public input? Please come forward.
Good evening, Joe Londa, Town of New Paltz. I see on the agenda tonight, item 11 is the purchase of a 2024 Silverado, which I believe is a diesel vehicle. While I recognize the need to replace existing vehicles, in the world that we live in, it is very important to consider the alternatives and understand how the alternatives compare. Every purchase of every vehicle that we make henceforth should be compared with an electric vehicle. It may show evidently that the electric vehicle couldn't do the job, but that needs to be part of the assessment of purchasing vehicles now going forward. The same could also be said of any heating or cooling equipment as well. If you purchase a propane heating system, why couldn't you use an electric system? But specifically on the 2024 Silverado, we should do an assessment of an electric vehicle to understand why it is that we need to purchase a diesel vehicle. Thank you.
Anyone else for public input?
Yes,
Oh, please.
it's come to my attention about the police commission, how it has dissolved or been dismantled. And as a representation of a PBA member, not of this village, but in the police or law enforcement, when officers are in trouble, there needs to be representation to help, with their jobs. Because there's so much discrimination or other things that happen in the workplace within law enforcement that you don't have your own voice sometimes, so you do need PBA union and representation and the police commission to assist in the full picture of what goes on and people's jobs. You guys just hired 2 officers, and if there's no police commission or even a board with mics, no one's working as a team here. So, I just wanted to just in a public forum state that there does need to be a police commission and more representation within the police department and, with Pulse.
Okay, thank you. We appreciate that. Anybody else? Okay. At that point, we'll close public input and we will be interviewing a candidate for our ethics board. Is Dennis Young here? Oh,
See it? There he is.
Oh, we should get you a
Resumes for
chair.
these
For
people?
Dennis?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dennis sent it quite a while ago, I think.
No, was this before me? It may have been before me.
Oh,
but I don't-
well, are you saying that you're not? Dennis, did you send us a letter of interest?
I did. I sent you
Okay.
my resume.
Okay, it's probably in your documents then, but,
Well, I have it. Yeah.
right, you just need to go back into
When
the
they found a time to
thing
pick
that
council.
Karen sent at the beginning.
Thank you for having me.
So,
All right, so,
I'll try and speak loud enough for everybody.
yeah.
As somebody with a hearing deficiency, I will echo that gentleman. It was very difficult to hear
Yeah,
very much of
and
anything.
especially with the fans going, we need to learn to project. Sorry about that.
Well, we're focusing more on streaming than we are
Screaming.
streaming. Yeah.
streaming, yeah, okay, good. Okay, so, so Dennis, why do you want to be on the ethics board?
Well, I've spent a fair amount of time, or have dedicated a fair amount of time to the village, both as environmental policy board, village board, and now I'm on their ethics board as well. I'd like to branch out and, serve the town as well. I think looking to join the ethics board, we can look for synchronicity between the village and the town, best practices, all that. One of the things that I've done with the village is to help create a disclosure form. Very closely mimics the disclosure form that the town has, but the village didn't have one at the time.
Okay, very good. So what's your understanding of what the ethics board's function is?
Well, my understanding is that when an ethics complaint is brought, then the ethics board needs to step in and handle it. That way, if this board is involved in the complaint or anything, they can step aside and make sure that there's no conflict of interest.
Okay, do you know where in the town you could find out information about the ethics board?
In the town laws, right? It would be within the bylaws of the town.
Right. Right,
E360 is where I usually look
Yeah.
online.
That's where it is, the E code.
right. So why does the town need an ethics board?
Again, to ensure there's no conflict of interest, should anybody have an ethical complaint to bring. And to give people an avenue to bring complaints that, if somebody wanted to bring a complaint against somebody on this board, who do they bring it to? Right? And just accountability, checks and balances, all the things government should have, right?
So you're already on the board for the village.
Correct.
Have you had many complaints to deal with there?
No.
Okay. So what's your understanding of the authority of the ethics board?
The authority. It's really the purview of the board is when complaints come in. Beyond that, honestly, I would have to do a little more research, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I'm not sure which other differences between the village and the town. So
And
Okay.
what kind of complaints come to the ethics board?
it would be an ethical complaint, right? I mean,
But what,
I have not seen,
What
nobody has brought any complaints in my time on the ethics board for the village. So what types would come in, I would say anything that anyone wants to complain about, right? You don't want to restrict anyone's ability to bring a complaint to the town or the village or whoever it is.
so nepotism would be an acceptable complaint?
Nepotism would be a very acceptable complaint. Right? It's law.
Have you, okay, so you're right that the town's code for our ethics board is in the code, it's chapter 15. And it lays out the procedures for how someone would file a complaint, who can file a complaint, surprisingly pretty limited. And on what basis. So, yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. Do you think that you would be able to keep personal opinions and or experiences out of your decisions?
Yes.
The county, I fill out a financial disclosure form for the county for my participation on the Industrial Development Agency. Does such a document exist for our ethics board? Because it goes to the one that I fill out, goes to the county's ethics board. Is there
Yes.
such an animal for the town
We
board?
filled them out as town council.
Yes,
I
not,
don't think I have.
Oh,
What?
well,
Yeah.
Oh, no, you did. You couldn't have
Did
taken your
I?
oath without it. Yes, sir.
You sure?
yeah.
Oh, yes.
I don't think I did.
Well, when you-
Rosanna, can you check that, please? I should be sitting here.
You definitely did.
Okay.
Any elected or volunteer or employee of the town. Yes.
Okay.
And Rosanna.
I guess I
checked
did.
with
She said I did.
Yes,
So-
I do. Okay.
But the criteria for you to investigate a complaint are pretty explicit in our town code. And you're right, anybody should feel free to say, I'm not comfortable with this town official doing this. And then you would have to go to the code and say, you're absolutely right, that is clearly in violation of our ethics, or you will say, it doesn't meet the test.
right.
So-
I think the code would really direct what actions need to be taken in each
It
situation.
does.
It's very specific about what types of complaints you investigate. So it's, yeah, and who can file the complaint. That's the kind of surprising. Now, have you read any of the town ethic boards, like minutes of their meetings to see what they've been
I have
doing?
not.
They
Okay.
haven't really met. I'll tell
No,
you,
they have them. They have to meet at least once.
I
a
know,
year, But they
but
have minutes.
they haven't, they've had one complaint,
Right.
which they referred back to us.
Okay, they've had 2 meetings and their minutes talk about working on some of the procedures and rules and stuff that they thought they could use some polishing up of stuff. So-
Which reminds me that I did write to them and suggest, the way it currently works, the plaintiff brings the complaint and then the board meets with the defendant and the plaintiff is never heard from again. And I think that should be modified.
You'd think that additional insider communication, if somebody
well, I think it
disputes
should-
something, to be able to have,
Well, it should be more
counterbalance.
of a real hearing where the ethics board hears, the complaint is maybe a sentence or 2. But I think that to be more efficient and balanced, the ethics board should actually interview the plaintiff and the defendant.
Okay, so they're required to meet once a year or as necessary. So I don't know if you have flexibility, if something comes up that you would be able to do that.
I live right here in the village, I work from home, I have plenty of flexibility to be here should anything arise.
Okay. And certainly it's not just the meetings. I mean, obviously there's work outside the meetings to prepare and read the complaints and any documentation and what the regs are and all that. And, yeah, and it's a very important job also, right? Okay. All right. Anybody else have questions?
No, thank you for your
Wait, do
interest
you
in
have any
volunteering.
questions for us?
No, I'm pretty fair.
Let me ask you one question.
Oh, no, you
Although-
already said no, sorry.
Though you have not had a case, I think you said at the level of the village, what's your understanding as to the standing of whatever recommendation you make?
I'm sorry,
Does it go?
I have a hearing deficiency, so.
Okay, and what is the procedure in the village regarding a decision that the board might make. In other words, what would the standing be? Would be recommendation to the village government or to a lawyer or?
The whole process would be dictated by what's in village code. We have not gone through this process because we haven't had any complaints. Right,
Okay.
so it's hard for me to really answer that. Right.
Okay, so the village is just now angelic.
Supposedly.
Okay, so it's not just, it's not only elected officials, it's any employee or
Oh,
anything.
absolutely.
And it can be, yeah, okay, all right, so any other questions for Dennis? Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Dennis.
Okay, very good. The next interview we have is for the planning board, Robert Holm.
You decided to go get
Oh,
that chair again?
All right, everybody gets to pick up the chair.
That was unethical.
That was unethical.
Take a chair away. Secret test for the job.
Can you pick up the chair? Okay. All right, thanks for being here tonight.
Sure.
So, why do you want to be on the planning board?
I hadn't given it much thought, but then Chris from the assessor's office saw me, and I've known her, and she said, "Bob, why don't you, we need somebody, join the planning board, they could use you." And at this point in my life, where I'm slowing down with work, purposely starting to retire, I thought maybe this would be a good thing for me and for the community to give back a little bit and to, find something interesting to do. I've been on the other side numerous
A
times.
lot, yeah. So, oh, okay, did you have a question?
No, what do you think the role is of the planning board?
Well, I think I have a lot to learn about it, but from my experience, it has to do with simple subdivisions, development, approvals, larger subdivisions, and other things that might be referred by the building department.
Do you know where you could find our town regulations about that?
I would think online.
Okay, have you ever, no, okay.
I have looked at town regulations
I would
online.
think as a builder, you would.
Yeah,
want to-
yeah. And also, there's other regulations like the New York State Building Code and things like that. But as far as the planning board, I've read through a bunch of documents, and we've had to prepare documents for the planning board when we were sitting on this side.
Do you recognize the difference between zoning code and building code?
I understand the concept, and I think if I'm on the planning board, I have to learn some more. But yeah, basically, planning is, if things meet zoning code, then the planning board would probably have the authority to grant or not. But if it's outside the zone, then it would have to go to the zoning board. If it's outside the zoning laws.
You're right, there is another board, the zoning board of appeals, that can appeal decisions.
Yep.
Building codes have more to do with safety of the buildings and stuff, where the zoning is land use type stuff, okay? What's your understanding of the authority of the planning board? Does it create the rules and regulations? Does it enforce them?
I would say makes decisions about rules and regulations. As far as enforcement, I'm not exactly sure. If the planning board says, I think that's probably more, I would think that's more an enforcement. Again, I have a lot to learn about this. I only was asked a week ago, and I haven't really done any research.
Okay,
yet.
so you've never attended, or have you attended a planning board meeting?
Oh, yeah, many. Yeah, like I said, I've been on applying for permits and things like that.
So you mentioned, one of the roles for the board is, for the planning board is inclusive of development. Could you talk a little bit about what you think the role of the planning board is vis-a-vis development and the concept of economic development and balance within a community as it goes about the development that you speak of?
Yeah, I think of a subdivision as a, development. Although on Route 32 now, I'm seeing in the village all these giant developments. That's kind of got me here a little bit also, because the way things are changing so quickly in our town, in our village, it's made me focus a little more on that. But anyway, I think, if someone wanted to subdivide their property and they had the proper zoning, they could apply and would wind up in front of the planning board, showing what they propose to do, and probably have to get environmental impact, either short or long form, and engineering, maybe, have to show water use, and there are other criteria that would have to be demonstrated for the planning board to approve. Things like that.
Thanks. I'm not sure that answered
I'm not sure.
my question, but that's okay. Because in some respects, you kind of hit on it
Okay.
when you talked about part of your impetus for being here is seeing the development and the speed in which things develop. And I think where I was going with that question is, as you go about looking at projects that come here that may come to the planning board, how do you think about the balance between the newness of a particular project and its impact on existing infrastructure, the benefits to the community, the balance for creating jobs, and the economic benefits that come with planning as opposed to just,
Yeah,
Housing.
Brandon, we should talk about this.
yeah, well,
Yeah,
but it's something that's gonna come
some-
to it should be
Some, but
part
not
of,
all of that is in their purview.
right,
Not
so
all.
that's what I wanna,
Well,
Yeah, the misnomer.
yeah, so to answer this in a very general,
that's
way,
okay.
I think it's easy to cut the tree down and it's hard to put it back. So you need to be careful what you're approving and weighing those, the benefits versus the impact. That I think so I think it needs to be done carefully and thoughtfully. And I mean, people that want to do something but are within their rights as far as zoning and planning, and other people do it, as long as they follow the rules and as a conservative way possible as far as the environment and the impact on the community, I think it's important and needs to be thought out, that way,
So,
conservative.
I really like that you have been on the other side of the table, so you really understand a lot of the process, and you're probably familiar with our reputation as no faults, because projects can take a long time. But having followed the planning board for 30 years, most of the time it's because the applicant hasn't submitted all the paperwork on time. And I can think of a big project, Trans Hudson, where the planning board was blamed for dragging its heels but would ask for a document, and then 9 months later, they would say, we still don't have that document. So I just hope you have a thick skin, because the planning board gets blamed for a long, slow grind of a process that is not its fault. And so I just hope that you'll understand that there's a lot of cumulative information that's being added every time a planning board meets, and you have to go through it all again. So I feel like we're very lucky to have a builder of your renown
Oh, well, thank you.
coming to volunteer for this position.
I appreciate that.
Edgar, do you have a question?
No.
Are you comfortable with the fact that planning board meetings are public and they are recorded and available on YouTube? So what you're doing at the meeting is,
Yeah. Yes, I am comfortable with
Okay.
that.
would you be able to keep personal opinions and experiences out of your decisions?
Yeah,
That's different than.
well, I think
That's a weird
A
question.
professional opinion is what we want.
yeah,
right?
but yeah, we base everything on our prior experiences, right? In life, but what you're saying, I know what you're saying.
Are you asking?
Yes, I
about
think
bias?
to be judicial and not prejudicial.
Fact-based.
Yep.
Factual, okay. The planning board meets 2 evenings a month, and there's certainly more work than that involved. Would you be able to commit the time to read the applications, all the submitted documentation, the relevant regulations, the stated intent, seeker, participating in seeker, and all the discussions? Would you have time for all of that?
Yep, I make time.
Okay. You're also expected to meet state planning board training requirements. That's 4 hours of training a year. It's not terrible, but it can slip, so
Where's that?
it can be anywhere. There's all kinds of options. Some of them
Online.
are online, some of them are in person.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
no
you do
problem.
have to do that. Okay, very good. Anybody have any more questions? Do you have any questions for us?
No. No, my experiences, especially as of lately with the planning board, have been good, positive ones. 28 years ago, not as positive.
It's on the project.
Yeah.
It's on the people.
Well, yeah.
Hopefully
It's another-
we're-
That's another story, but I won't bring that into
Okay.
the fray.
Okay. All right, thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, Bob.
I'll leave the chair.
Okay, who's next? Who wants to sit in the
Joshua.
chair?
Joshua, hi there.
Hello.
y'all.
Guess what we're gonna ask you? Why?
Let's do ideas.
Why?
You sound from the south.
I just moved
Where
up
did
from
y'all-
Texas. I'm originally from here, but I left like 10 years ago and just moved back up here.
And you learned how to talk this?
Yeah, I spent a lot of time with everybody down there, so.
Y'all reminds me of home.
So why would you like to be on the planning board?
I think moving back here, I've seen a lot of changes, and I'd come back like every year or so and visit. All my family's here. My brother owns a gutter business here. So I always hear about everything coming and going. And it's just, I've seen good things, and I've seen bad things. And I feel like I want to be able to kind of be part of that process and see what's coming on. And kind of like, Mr. Cohn had mentioned prior, is it's easy to cut down a tree and not put one back up. I feel like everywhere I went in the Midwest, whether I was in the oil field or in solar, who I was talking to, I was always talking about New Paltz and pulling up photos of New Paltz. And it's like, it's a little oasis that I feel like of New York. First off, a lot of people down there just think New York's a city, not a whole state.
Right.
But I've always talked about it. And now that I'm back here, I kind of want to be part of that, preserving that, and then also helping with the progressiveness forward with it too. And finding, as I believe you were the one speaking with it, like the balance in between that. It's a very fine line, you know, you can go one way and then all of a sudden you've gone too far. And then I used to live in Houston, and that's a prime example sometimes of going too far. I've lived in small towns as well, and you can see what happens if you don't try to move forward, and then it starts to impact the people that live there as well. So that's the main reason. And now that I've started my own business here and general contracting and working and meeting everybody around here, it's only kind of ignited that flame in me to want to be part of it and give something back to the town itself.
Okay. So,
KTRK, I'm in Houston.
so have you looked at all at any of our zoning regulations?
So I've been busy just with projects going back and forth. I was on the website, I was watching some previous meetings, kind of trying to get up to speed with everything. I definitely have more to learn. I'm used to Houston regulations, and it's a lot different up here. But yeah, I've gone through some previous meetings. I've talked to people doing business around here and kind of just try to stay up with everything that's going on.
Okay, yeah, so it's an interesting, it's almost a misnomer. The planning board doesn't really do planning, they do
Right.
administration of the code. And, you know, so you don't get to be real super creative, although there are times when you can apply some discretion.
Right.
But one of the things that's a real important, there's a reason why it's a 7-year term. Because it takes time to
Yeah.
learn all of this and seeker and all that, so. Although right now, we're not filling the 7-year term, we're filling one term that ends at the end of this year. And
Right.
then that person would be eligible or available or whatever to re-up. And then one, expires at the end of next year. So
Okay.
right now, we're filling 2 empty seats.
Right.
Okay, yeah, just so that's clear, I should have told that to, Mr. Cohen too. Okay, so, So if we have town zoning regulations, why do we need a planning board?
I think with the different projects coming in, being able to review them, seeing their impact on everything, you know, a regulation that maybe was put into effect 5 years ago with all the advancements and everything might now be outdated. It might not take 7 years, it might not take 2 years. It really just depends on what's being built, what they're trying to use. And I think with especially here with like the population growth, what effects that's gonna take to the residents that are here and the people moving in too. So I think having someone to review all those individual things and making sure everything's kind of progressing forward with it is, I feel like that's why we need it.
Okay, and do you grasp the difference between building code and zoning code?
Yeah, I mean, zoning code is primarily land development, and then building code is what I dealt with all the time in Houston. And even around here, you know, if you're building a house and now you need to make sure the fire retardant walls are up to code, especially if you're living in close proximity, especially like out in Kingston, we're doing a project. So yeah, I mean, building code is always gonna be safety, and then zoning is more land development, environmental impact, and along those lines.
Okay, do you know what kind of applications come to the planning board?
So from what I looked online, it seems like around here, it's more subdivisions that have been coming in lately. And then you drive by the college and you can definitely see larger buildings being put up. It seems like that's what I've seen most of as of late, but I've only been back up here for about 3 months now.
Okay, yeah. Just to make clear, we have no jurisdiction over what happens on campus.
Amanda, you have to speak louder.
Okay, we don't have jurisdiction.
Yeah, I know there's the village and the town,
And
And the
campus.
state,
and it,
the
yeah.
college is totally exempt from all zoning.
Gotcha, okay.
Okay, you're right. Subdivisions have become a lot more than what we do. We do, commercial applications. We do not do single family housing.
Gotcha, okay.
That just goes through the building department. Okay, so yes, you have watched some of the planning board meetings, you've spoken to people. Are you comfortable with the fact that those meetings are public and are recorded and available on YouTube?
Yeah, that's not a problem at all.
Okay. Anybody else want to ask him some questions?
Yes, you've had a lot of experience with solar,
Yes,
and we're going to have a presentation about BESS systems, better battery energy storage systems, great, big, huge.
is it a commercial or more residential?
Both.
Both, okay,
Both.
Well, the one we're getting
Tonight,
today is
right.
the big ones.
so
okay.
tonight we're looking at the big one. So, I think it would be great to have somebody on the planning board who's had experience installing solar.
Yeah, I've done it a lot, and that's what I was doing down in Houston as an operations manager down there for Freedom Solar for the last 2.5 years.
Okay, all right.
Randall?
No.
Okay, would you be able to keep personal experiences and biases out of your planning board decisions?
Yes,
Everybody says. Well, see.
it's like that with every job, though. I mean, you can't, whatever your personal belief is, you can't let that impact your your professional. It's all experience-based. That's the only thing you should be bringing into the professional.
Okay, the planning board meets 2 evenings a month. It is the second and fourth Mondays, right here. And there's certainly more work than that involved. It's not like you just show up at the meeting. You have to do your homework, be prepared, read the applications, read the appropriate regulations, and participate with seeker. Do you know what seeker is? That's a.
No, I'm not familiar with that.
That's the state environmental quality review.
Okay,
So it's a formatted thing that there's a lot of questions that get asked and answered about what is the project and what impact might it have on all kinds of environmental,
okay.
things. And then are they significant? And then, so that's, it's
And
another.
the
thing
forms
that-
are on the planning board website, and you
Yeah.
can have a look at them and see.
Perfect.
What we're looking for is, what kind of impact is this going to have on the community, on the environment, on our
Right.
ecosystem? And if it's none, there's a form for that. If it's a big one, there's a form for that.
Forms for everything.
Yes.
Okay. We have a lot of cool codes too. We have like steep slopes, we have clear cutting, we have wetlands and water courses protection. So we have a lot of environmental protections built in that the planning board has to take into account.
Okay.
Okay, you also have the state requirement for 4 hours of training a year. Would that be a problem for you?
Not really.
Okay, so you're working though, you got a business, you're like a full-time dude, right?
Yeah,
Okay, well, this is not a nothing, to get on the planning board.
I'm okay with, I'm constantly trying to teach myself new stuff and doing certifications, and so taking on more is, I'm all for it. I'm here to learn.
One thing that's important is the planning board members need to understand that these meetings are really important to the
Yeah.
applicants. And we need to have quorum at the meetings, and so we need to make sure that people understand they have to juggle their whatever's around to make sure they continue. Okay. All right, any more questions? No? Do you have any
No.
questions for us?
No, not at the moment.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you guys for your time. I appreciate it. Do you want me to put this back or am I leaving this here? All right.
Joe, are you gonna wanna be up here for your presentation?
We have the library.
Library.
Oh, here's the library. Here's the library. Hi.
Oh, hi, June, are you the library?
We are the library.
You too, we need another chair. We need two chairs.
Get a chair.
Okay.
Oh, sure.
Um,
Here's a chair.
Well, it's, yeah, but.
Oh, good, well, just pull that around the other side.
All right,
Okay.
so
So we are part of the executive board of the library. Hi, Randall.
Hello,
I've been on the board
good and you?
before Randall left the library board.
Yes,
Um,
I'm like a bad meal at Denny's. I keep showing up,
Oh.
right?
really nice to see you again. I'm June Wheeler. I'm the first vice president. I'm Hillary Clues. I'm the second vice president. And we, actually, can I just say that I really appreciate the resolution about John Lewis, that you made at the beginning of the meeting.
Thank
I
you.
actually did make it here after going
Oh,
to the
great.
march. I was in
Wow.
the library for a meeting. The march went past the library because it's so central and I hopped on the march and walked all the way there, and I had to leave before Antonio Delgado was finished speaking, but he was brilliant and it was very well attended. So it was really,
Great.
really,
Good to hear.
yes. So that was a great thing. Thank you for the resolution.
Sure.
So we have informed the village and the town boards in different ways in the past when the library is going out for what we shorthand call a 414. 414 is when we go directly to the taxpayers to ask them, if they could vote to add a tax, an additional tax levy onto their taxes, and that goes towards our operating expenses. We are still not completely funded by those public funds, but we are
striving.
that is our hope for someday in the future, but we may never get there, and we do make up the difference with our fundraising, the library fair and our campaigns. So, I kind of want to ask you what more you would like to know. Sometimes we've just emailed to the boards, but actually really appreciate the chance to, in a public forum, to tell you more about, why this is actually it's a good thing for libraries. We are looking at, some cuts coming down the pipe to our funding, and yet we are more important than ever to the community with what we provide, including, a de facto cooling center when the library's open. So, yeah, I could read you our bullet points about this, but if you have questions, that would be perfect.
So this is at least the second, if not third year in a row that you guys.
Second,
Okay,
yeah,
but then there was another one, not that one.
a couple of years before that.
Okay,
Mhm.
so, I think it's important for the public, everybody's, oh, the library, okay, but I think we should have a good idea of what it is you're facing, the challenges,
Mhm.
and what the money's going for, and yes, what your future thinking is, so.
Right, so we actually do have a public forum closer to the election for the public to explain exactly that, and we put all that information on the website. But here and now, I can say, here, I have 5 bullet points on why we are asking the taxpayers for this increase this year. And we did ask for a slightly larger increase last year, and that was to make up for shortfalls. This year, it's probably the smallest increase we've ever asked for. Mid-Hudson Library System, MHLS, which is our library system, the one that we participate in. They have advised libraries to try to go out every year for smaller amounts. It becomes something that the community recognizes. This is how we support our library. That is so important to us, and it's a smaller ask every time. So we looked at our budget and everything, and So I'll just read you the few things that is our answer to that question. Why this year for this increase? We've already been informed that the costs that we pay to the Mid-Hudson Library System for various services are going to increase in 2026 due to projected federal cuts to federal funding. We're experiencing increases in the cost of employee health insurance. And it might be important for you to note that the library is not eligible for participation in the New York State health insurance or the state pension system. So our employees receive benefits that are not equal to the employees of the town. We are sort of self-funding their health insurance because it's the right thing to do, but those costs are going up. Our building, our beautiful centrally located historic building, the new part will be 20 years old next year in 2026. It is heavily used. It requires regular maintenance. And we have to not only budget for the maintenance and repairs required, but we have deferred maintenance. We don't want to have deferred maintenance and higher costs in the future because of not taking care of things now. The roof is going to be a big project coming up. We did a great carpeting project this year in January, and that was a long time coming. And we've done paint. We have a few leaky things that are getting looked at, but yes, so that's part of our operating budget. Since the pandemic, the use of the building, the computers, and the collection has continued to increase. There are, of course, costs associated with that increased use, staffing, maintenance, replacement of collection items, etc. And this is not on this list, but I know because I use it a lot. When you get an audiobook through your library card, through one of the couple of services we belong to, that costs us a lot.
Or it's also important to know that the digital resources are much more expensive than the hard copies of books, and they expire. You have to re-buy them after a certain number of circulations. So all of those expenses are increasing over time.
Yes, and it's a great service to have that, absolutely. But yes, that's expensive and increasing. And similar libraries in our system, we can see their figures, and we're almost on a par with the average expenses and what they receive from their taxpayers in our system. So we're not an expensive library, especially considering what we provide for the community. And I think some of the proof of that is in the fact that what was the percentage? It was like 3-1 that we got our vote approved last year. And we've never lost a vote like that. And we're very grateful to the taxpayers that recognize that the library is an invaluable resource here. And that's why they continue to vote for our increases, which we labor over, we study over, we have many budget meetings, and we're not asking for anything but what we need.
So I have been concerned about your roof. Is that a priority issue that this will cover, or do we just start patching?
So, I think are you on the facilities committee?
I am not.
Oh, okay, unfortunately, neither of us are on the facilities
Okay.
committee, but,
I'm not sure we've got an estimate for the roof yet, have we?
I don't know, Crystal mentioned it just
I don't think
at
it's
the meeting
anything
that I was
like
at
that.
5 o'clock.
Okay,
But
I mean,
that
I don't
is-
want to put you on the spot.
No,
but
that
it
is,
is noticeably, that's something we can all see.
right,
And,
And that's actually, that is something that comes up at the library board meetings, is that we want the town to understand that we're taking good care of the library building. It is a concern. We like it to be painted. We like the roof to look fresh. And it's in the middle of the town. It's essentially the town square. So
Very true.
it is very important to us to maintain the building. I don't think either of us can speak to whether or not this particular increase will cover the roof, but that is one of the priorities of upcoming spending. And that's not being delayed. It's just, I'm not aware, not on any of those committees.
right. It's,
Okay, well, I know you guys have to prioritize just as we do, and I'm sure you will make the right decision about how to, uh, allocate these funds.
But there is a sense of urgency about caring for the building.
Good. So, I mean, you have 14 pages of signatures here,
Yes, petitions.
you have a lot of public support, which you know.
Yes.
Randall, do you have questions?
Yeah, because, I was there, so I've gone through the process in the 414. The roof is one thing. The roof covers that wonderful historical section. So that's very important, because if all of that stuff is destroyed, it would be a shame. But one of the things that was always the chatter when I was on that board, was accessibility. And I don't know about you, but I'm telling you, if I were a person who were physically challenged and trying to hoof up that ramp in a wheelchair or whatever, and then get to the top and then have to hoof up a couple of steps and then a couple of more steps.
Heavy.
What is being done? Because when I was there, there was talk about doing something off of that historical section and putting an elevator or something, because one of the things that seniors complained about a lot was the accessibility of the library to them. And that, to me, is very, very important. And there doesn't seem to be much movement there. So that's question number one. And that's kind of a cheater, because I was there. But I don't know where you all are with that now, since I've disappeared from there.
accessibility has always been a major component of our, 3-year, what is that plan called?
The long range plan.
Our long range plan.
Right.
And we are going to be embarking on, something like that, installing an elevator, which is what, we eventually ultimately need and want. That is not covered in a budget like this. That is a big capital campaign, huge.
Which we are making plans for.
Right.
And we recently, what was it called last year? We actually interviewed a whole big group of people from the town to find out what the town needed from the library building and what their willingness was for money to be spent in a capital campaign.
Yeah.
And we had some big plans, now we've scaled them back, but the scaled back plans include accessibility as the number one priority.
Yeah.
And expansion to the right,
We will not be able to
that's
do
gone?
That it's
Okay.
gonna be, that would be too expensive.
Okay, so that was next, okay. You mentioned.
But we also, interestingly, since even I came onto the library board, which has only been 3 years, we are making one of the reasons that the larger plans no longer need to happen are because we're making better use of the space inside the library. We culled our collection, we opened up many more rooms. So the space of the library is open to the town to be used for meetings and tutoring and classes and, wow.
You have to
Chris,
wave your
he's
arms.
a tall person, taller than.
There we go.
So that's one of the reasons that there won't be such a big ask for the capital campaign. And why we're able to, the accessibility to be the top.
Do you, everybody's going through an increase in health insurance and whatnot. I mean, can't be avoided. And I don't remember the answer to this. Do the employees contribute at all to their health insurance?
Yes, they contribute. I can't remember the percentage.
I don't know.
But I mean, that we have covered more than we did in the past. In fact, I don't even know what they had. All the full-time employees have a good health insurance plan and they do contribute to it. Yes. Can't remember the percentages.
And then
sorry.
my last question is, as you go through the request for looking for additional funds, I'd be remiss as, a taxpayer and a member sitting on the board. Do you think about ways in which you can cut costs in the library, if at all?
all the time.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Have you met our new director, Crystal Middleton?
No, I haven't, but, and, you know, it's sort of a facetious question because I know that you do, but I think any taxpayer is gonna wanna know, you know, everybody is hit by all of this stuff. You're not the only ones, and, you know, so when a household is hit with things, they start taking away. So the HBO goes, or this goes, or that goes. So I think it's important that people understand that you guys are going through that process with them, and so that they're, you know.
Absolutely.
I think we really put a great deal of effort into making sure that the library is answering the needs of the town.
Great, thanks.
Edgar, yes.
I was a trustee in the late nineties.
Oh, really?
Sally Rhodes had appointed me because I successfully increased from 2 librarians to 4 librarians in the school district during that time. As a reward, she appointed me to the library as a trustee. So I just have one question. We did fundraising for construction and we had a display out in front of the library. So it just raises the question of are there any limitations or restrictions about doing fundraising? That was for capital improvement, but for operational, are there any no limitations? Because if there aren't, what else can you do to help raise funds? Because
We do a lot.
I mean, we're confronting.
So our main fundraiser, sorry to cut you off, but this is a little
Yeah.
bit of a sore subject. When I joined the board, it was told to me, this is gonna be a working board, and boy, has it been. I mean, one of my personal things that I do is work towards the library fair, which is our major fundraiser of the year. It requires hundreds and hundreds of hours of me with my team in that little book shed, which right now at about 10:45, our donation hours are till 11. At about 10:45 on the 3 days a week, we're accepting the book donations. It gets to be about 100 degrees in there. And I often stay many hours after that because all the books that are donated that are going to be sold at the library fair need to be cleaned and sorted and then boxed and stacked. And then they come back out again for the fair, and it is huge. So yes, we do a lot.
And there are also, as you know, other things at the library fair. And then we also do several donation campaigns every year. There's a spring appeal and a fall appeal.
Right. So, you know, we're writing letters.
But the library fair
reaching
itself
out.
is a big,
That's our.
it's our main fundraising, and it requires the work of the whole board.
Any
And
chance of getting private grants?
we do that.
Yeah, Crystal is,
Yeah.
so our director is the one who applies for private grants.
And she actively pursues.
Yeah, she's terrific that way. So, yes, if
How
you
many-
ever want to come to a library board meeting, you'd be welcome. And certainly, you know, any of our donor development activities, come on back.
Thank you for the volunteer work that you do.
We
Thank
actually
you.
Talked about having maybe a liaison to the,
Having a one.
we talked about maybe having a liaison, a town board liaison
Yes, we
to the,
did.
that would be something of interest to, you know, as a
Well, you
partnership.
can certainly, I mean,
Richard talked
our-
about it too.
oh, did you?
He referenced that had been brought up in the past,
Huh.
so that you all would not be surprised by our asks.
Yeah,
You're-
it's part of it, and, yeah,
Yeah.
like how much does your fare of your total operating, how much do you get from the fair?
20, between 20 and $30,000, but then at least 10 of that is expenses. So, yeah,
A lot of work for.
Yeah,
yes.
but it's also, we feel it's a very important PR relationship between the town and the fair.
I think everybody has fun going.
Exactly, it's so much.
All right, any more questions for these folks? Okay, so we have to do 2 things. One is we have to do a seeker. A resolution and notice of determination of the non-significance, neg deck for this activity. So this is, okay, so I'm gonna offer the resolution for negative declaration. That's Amanda Gatto. I need a second.
I'd like to second that.
Great, Edgar. And this is the, so we will be placing on the ballot the following question. shall the annual contribution of the town of New Paltz provided in its budget for the Elton Memorial Library, a free association library, that's got some meaning, right? Located at New Paltz, New York, be increased by $75,000 annually to a total of $845,000 annually. Based on that, the town board of New Paltz has compared that action as described in the environmental assessment forms parts 1 and 2 with a list of criteria and determined that the application proposed is a type 2 action and that the town board has no further responsibilities under the act. In other words, it is a type 2 with a negative declaration of environmental impact. We'll call for a vote.
I just have one question.
Sure.
So, I forgot to ask this earlier. So you are asking for a $75,000 increase every year?
It will be added to the total that is collected from taxpayers.
It says annually.
Yeah, every year. So in
So
other words,
every
this
year
will be your new target.
you want to add 75,000?
No.
No?
Sorry, I don't have that wording. Would like.
So next year, if you didn't ask for another increase, it would still be 800,000 something. You wouldn't drop the 70.
You're right, that annually is a typo and I'm
Thank you.
embarrassed to
It's a
say
one.
it should not be there.
Okay.
The only annually that should be there is at the end of that sentence. And I am appalled.
Okay, so it's 75,000 this year, but the
Yes.
800 and whatever.
800, it results, so should be increased by $75,000 this year.
Making it 844.
Correct, making
And
it
I think-
to $844,000 annually.
So
That
every
will be the
year
total
coming
amount.
after.
So next year, unless we go out again, would be
Okay.
again 844,000.
Okay, so it's the new amount.
Thank you, Kitty.
Okay, so we're gonna take it, it's $74,000.
Yeah.
One,
So,
One time.
One time.
so
so,
this is annual. Okay.
so do we just strike that
I-
here?
I think we
Roseanne?
have to deal with, we have to get the town clerk to, and
Rose-
probably
Roseanne?
Richard.
Yes, I
can
I can edit that.
Thank you.
Okay, so it's very clear that this year it's 75, it becomes 844,000 this year and every year hereafter.
Unless there's,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, all right. So for the neg deck, I need a vote.
Does
This-
that put it
Yes.
after the vote on this, that puts it,
This is one vote for everything. So
approves
it's the
it to
neg-
go on the ballot?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Well, can I just say that we don't, respectfully, we don't need your approval to go on the ballot. This is a direct, we are empowered to go directly to taxpayers with the request to increase funding. So we're informing you.
Okay,
And in the state education law with the chapter 414, that's what empowers libraries, particularly municipal and association libraries, and we are an association library, to hold a public vote on funding.
So you could have just sent us a letter.
okay, so wait.
Which I started to say, that's what we've done in the past,
Okay,
you know,
this
emails,
resolution
I usually
is not-
used to email.
This resolution says you have been filed in the office of the town clerk a petition requesting the following question be placed on the ballot.
To the town clerk, right?
Right.
Town clerk sends it directly to the Board of Elections.
Rosanna, did you know that?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so we're not voting on that, we're voting on the seeker.
Well, you have to vote on both resolutions, but she is right. You don't technically have to vote in favor of it for it to go on the ballot.
Send a letter next year.
No, we need to understand.
We
what
need to
it's
do the
about.
seeker part.
We have to do the seeker, and it's good to know what's going on with the
Yeah,
library.
but they can get a letter and we can still do the seeker. I mean,
They sort of did, they sent the petition into.
Okay,
Roseanne.
let's-
right.
Okay,
let's-
can we
let's
vote on
move
this?
on.
All
Yeah.
right,
Do we want to say that we endorse it? Is that,
Well, I think if we vote aye,
if we vote aye, it's like we're saying, yes, go forward, the seeker's okay, and therefore the petition's not being affected or held up.
okay,
I mean, do you want to say like wholeheartedly aye?
well,
I say we do it by acclamation and be done with it.
Oh, and it
And-
takes 5 seconds either way.
Yeah, well, it's done. If-
Randall. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. Okay, knowing that we have one absent member.
okay.
And so Rosanna, everywhere you see that first annually, you're gonna strike it. So it's just the
Yes.
final, okay.
Okay, that was good, because otherwise, no, you didn't have to come back at all.
Well, the architect
That would've
felt
been
nice.
nice.
Thank you. Would you
Okay.
like your chair?
Yeah, what's the story with the chairs now?
Okay, next.
Anybody else?
No,
want
you
to
can
come?
leave them.
Maybe
It doesn't
Yvonne and
matter.
Joe want to
Yes.
sit up here?
No, you can leave the chairs, we've got more people.
And Josh,
Thank
we're
you so
probably
much.
gonna go into executive session and make appointments later.
Okay.
If you want to sit through our whole meeting, you're more than welcome. We'd love to have you, but we're not gonna make any appointments right now, so.
Did you see?
No,
the-
no, I wasn't waiting.
Okay,
I was just-
good.
Honestly, I was just listening. It's my first
Great.
New Paltz meeting. I've done a bunch of
Wonderful.
Houston, so I was
Well,
trying to hear
you're
it
gonna
out.
really love this next part.
Okay, so our agenda said authorization for the neg deck and
Oh.
authorization to approve the question, so we'll just take that out. Okay, okay, fun. And y'all wanna come up? Okay, we got more chairs.
The slides on the
No.
picture, you can't do that.
If
What?
I'd known you needed that, I would have brought my own.
I have the
Said it
slides, I
was-
just thought for the audience that they could see it.
Did it a month ago.
How's it going?
Okay, thanks, Matt. Here's, Lyle, did you wanna come up? You don't need to. Okay, all right.
So the public is not gonna be able to see this presentation?
Well, the file is on
I
your
know,
document,
but-
but yes, they can't see it.
I
Rosanna,
don't think
you
we're not
can't
going
put it up?
through it slide by
No.
slide. We're gonna
No, but
focus on
it's-
some stuff.
All right.
Yeah.
5-10 minutes.
All right, so, my name is Joe Londa, I'm a resident of the town of New Paltz. I led the utility scale battery energy safety study. Two participants who were good collaborators and contributors, Lyle and Matt, joined me. We ran the study group sometime from November to March, and then a little bit here and there on email. Thank you for your contributions and collaboration. Today I'm here to present to you our work product. What is the output? I'm here asking for your approval of the work product, meaning I need a confirmation that you accept it so that I can share it with the public. It would, in completing that piece of work, it would bring back the discussion of where we left off on the reconsideration of town code and zoning usage for tier 2 BES. The presentation is only education materials. There are no recommendations in the presentation. So quickly, page 4 gives a highlight of what's in the presentation. Section 1 is just a basic understanding of battery energy storage, utility scale, the need for a substation to step up or down the voltage, and the standards in the second page, the standardization that has been taking place on BES, including battery chemistry, as well as containers to prevent thermal propagation. Because we have limited time, I will talk about basically section 2 to understand the risk and so that we maximize your questions. Section 3 on rewards, I'm not going to talk about. We did not have consensus in our study group on inclusion because rewards tend to be future-based, and anything that's future-based is always uncertain. But it's a necessary part to talk about the rewards that come from having a battery energy storage system, or for that matter, any development that you do. Social costs, social benefits, how do those weigh out against each other? Section 4 is the considerations for citing a battery energy storage system. And then there's a big backup section because there's a lot of technical questions that you could go into, but I won't delve into that. So on just risk, the subject of risk, page 9, which has a nice cross-section of the inside of a battery, highly magnified. Well, it shows you a nail, but that's actually not a failure mode. It's making the point that when you short the anode and cathode together, that's what creates a thermal event in a battery. And to create shorts in batteries, which lead to a thermal runaway, there's three ways you can do that. You can do that by perhaps having contaminations in the battery cell itself, that were interjected in the manufacturing process of the battery. It could be a system level defect that causes a short between the batteries or between the containers or in the electrical system itself. And then third, when you're operating a BESS, if you over discharge or overcharge, you can cause a dendritic growth to take place inside a battery, and that will create a short as well. A thermal runaway is a short that propagates the heat to its adjacent batteries, which then short and also then propagate. So that is, and what happens is you vaporize the electrolytes and the polymer separator that keeps the anode and cathode away from each other. And it's those gases from the vaporization that are potentially explosive, and why ventilation of containers is an important part of the safety design. Those are perhaps the most important things to know about where do fires come from, is a short circuit basically in the battery. Moving on to page 10, which is a critical page. First off, we should know that this data that's on page 10 comes from the Electric Power Research Institute. It's an independent organization. They've been in place since 1969, and they deal with all kinds of power research. The way to read that chart, first off, the chart is for all global. So it's a worldwide picture of all of the data that they have, which comes from media, independently reported. And it's grid connected. That means it doesn't include EVs. It doesn't include e-bikes or e-scooters. It's just talking about utility connected battery systems. The bars in that chart are the number of incidents in that calendar year. An incident would be an emergency response. It doesn't talk about the degree of fire, it's just there was an emergency response. The area line is the deployment of batteries, and it's measured in gigawatts. And so you can see it's steadily going up. The line is the incident rate. That is, how many incidences were there versus the deployed gigawatts in that calendar year. The gigawatts is cumulative, whereas the instances, how many events happened that year. As you can see that line, it has come down by 98%. While that may sound significant, it's important to note, it's still not at zero. The incident rate is not at zero. And that's because we have had instances in recent events. It never gets to zero because of, well, unless you have no incidences, it will never reach zero. The breakout of that data is that in New York State, since 2012, there have been 24 incidences in 11 states.
Wait, so in New York State,
There have been 24
incidents
incidents,
in New York
emergency
State.
response. That's correct.
And how many total batteries are we talking about? So like how many of them?
24
Well, there have
incidents in
been,
the Uni-
you
wait,
can, think of the
in New York, we
24.
had 4.
Yeah, I'm sorry, in the US, we've had 24,
Yeah.
in New York, we've had 4. This is why I should have the chart up. So 24 instances are US in 12 states since 2012.
Oh, that's what that states. Okay,
Yeah.
and again, how many of these units are we talking about? Like,
The 24 would be the site. When you say units, remember the system is made up of individual cells, which go into modules, which go into racks, which go
So
into
Joe,
containers.
how many BESSes did all of these 24s, that's all there were in the US? Or were there like 2,400 in the US and only
They
2,400?
measure it in gigawatts.
That's not how.
No, what you're asking
How
is
many-
how many are there total,
The
and there was
count.
24 incidents?
Yeah,
How
I
many
think we-
physical
I think we'd have
BESSes?
to look that up.
We
Yeah.
would have to go, I'd have
Total
to go
units
look
there
it
are.
up,
Yeah,
but the
in the US.
measure is still gigawatts.
okay, so I don't care Cause I don't care if there's like
I know what you're
one
saying.
here and one
Right.
there. I need to know how
She's
many.
saying if there's 600
Yeah.
units and there was 24.
Yeah, that would be cool to
Or
know.
there's 1,200 units and 24.
That's
there's
100% of
24
them
units
or
and there's-
1% of,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Yeah.
That's what I'd like to know.
Yeah, so
And
what,
then for
how
you-
many sites are there?
Yeah. and
How
same
many
thing for our
sites are there
state, yeah.
utility scale?
Yeah, cool.
And they understand they vary greatly.
Sure. Some
Like
of them
some
are
are
like,
small in neighborhoods in Brooklyn.
So
Some
I
are
don't
huge
know
on
that,
Plots in Texas.
so I don't know that I have that data,
okay,
but I can go chase it, see if I can get the
We can find
data.
that out.
It's the area under the curve, that
Mhm.
light blue curve, that's what you're talking about. What's the count?
Yeah.
Under that
and you're saying this
gigawatts?
is cumulative, so these are all the ones that have ever been installed.
Yep.
And not the ones that are, like, maybe the older ones versus the new ones, like the older ones have.
No,
more
that's
incidents than the new
all
ones.
that's all deployments.
So my question is, do the older ones have more incidents than the newer ones?
Yes, in fact, the most significant event that took place was the Moss Landing, California fire. And that occurred this year, 2025, in January, February, I believe it was. And what made it significant is that it was older technology. It was using battery technology, which is referred to as NMC, nickel, magnesium, cobalt. That is not the battery technology that's being used now. We use LFP, lithium iron phosphate batteries. The reason why they've switched is that nickel NMC is much more energetic when it shorts. It creates a much higher temperature of short at the short, and that propagates that thermal temperature much faster across the other batteries. The other thing is,
So we could say, none of those NMCs here, we could say that.
Not to say that there haven't been issues with
Oh,
the
okay.
lithium.
you can, so the code, right? The code is neutral on technology
Oh, why?
because it changes.
Yeah,
In fact, the next technology is gonna be put in LFP is gonna be solid state LFP.
Mhm.
So you'd be chasing the
Well, it's like we're doing
technology.
refrigerants too. We don't, nobody uses Freon anymore, right? So we've updated the requirements, whether it's,
Yeah.
in the safety code, the building code or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, good
Uh,
to know.
the state, we usually use the state's code because locally, having expertise on this particular technology is kind of rare. So, and that's across really all of New York State. You're not gonna find experts in every town
Right,
to write the code. So they reference the New York State code.
okay. It's a good place to start for sure.
So the other key thing on the Moss Landing was that there were no containers. It was all of the batteries inside of a single old generation building. And so when they had the thermal runaway,
Yeah,
it spread to everything.
okay. Those are important too.
And the containers are not put indoors. Containers are now exterior units, making it very hard to propagate and also allowing the gas that does occur from a fire to vent out.
So when it's out into the atmosphere, it's no longer being a flammable.
It has much less chance of being
It needs to
ignited.
be concentrated.
Yeah, if it's concentrated and you add heat and oxygen, that's how you can get an explosive event.
Sounds like Sugar Land. There's a dust,
Sugar Land.
with dust in the silo. Dust.
Oh, yes. If you have the elements of it and you add something, you can
Mhm.
create an explosion.
Okay,
So that's page 10. I hope the essence of it is clear. Now, the 4 events that took place in New York State was kind of surprising that they would be so many, 4, all at the same time. In fact, on page 11, you see that they occurred between May and July. So that's a lot happening all in one place in a very short period of time. They were at different states of their life. The Warwick had a system age of 0.1 year, meaning it was being brought up. So it was an early failure that they detected. The Shelmont was also 0.4 years. It too was early life. The only one, the East Hampton one was operational for 4.8 years, and that had a smoldering condition. So they all exhibit different levels of incidences, right? Whether you have is there explosion? Is there just smoldering? Is there a fire? What can happen in these different things? So we had these 4 events. And in response, New York State commissioned an interagency study to understand these events. Some of you may have attended the NYSERDA presentation on May 7th that gave a readout on that. There were 11 recommendations, actions to update the fire codes and additions. The most significant one was a required peer review to look at the design and to look for opportunities to improve the design. These are being added to the fire code. And I think in that call, they said it was going to be January of 2026 when they would all be implemented. So what happens? What are the hazards of having a fire? There's 3 basic hazards. The first is personal injury, loss of life. That's a potential. It's not so much at the property because it's like a substation. No one's there, operating it. So if they have an incident, there's not going to be anyone really there. It's the first responders that you really need to worry about, who have to have the proper training in order to address the incident. The other risk is environmental pollution, where neighbors could be affected by an incident. And here we have to worry about air, ground, and water.
Is this because of the what's used to put it out, or is it because of the chemicals that come spewing out of it?
Well, for the air, it would be the venting of the container itself. They know, the fire code knows what those materials are. They're basically the same materials you would have in any other kind of fire. Although because the batteries are made up of very known materials, they know what's going to be emitted. Whereas if you have a house fire, the question is what's in the house? That's what's going to get emitted. So there's a lot more certainty on what are the emissions from a battery fire than, let's say, any other fire in the community. So air is the fire event. If you are going to deploy water to cool, you're really trying to cool the surrounding batteries. Well, okay, that's going to get mixed in with what's in the air as well, right? So it could flow into the water as well. So you'd want to know what kinds of toxins are possible to be released into the water stream. And then ground is just what's going into the ground.
Can I ask a quick, are we gonna go through this entire thing? Cause we've got lots of stuff on the agenda and
No, I said I was gonna cover just the risk tonight.
Okay.
And ask you for your approval at the end.
Okay.
So the last item was economic loss. And there isn't much data on this. If you haven't a best next to a residential property, what's the economic impact? Is there any? Don't know, because there's just very little data on this. Kind of similar to a cell tower or transmission lines or a substation or any development for that matter. How does it affect adjacent properties? If you look at page 14, this is the last page I'm going to cover. What they have found, what the interagency found, is they released a significant report, 526-page report. It's a lot of reading. They studied the air, water, and ground contaminations. Independent organizations did that work. And is the executive summary that I'll point to that basically said, well, they found no harmful levels of toxins detected and no long-term off-site impacts involving any migration of contaminants associated with the fires. Those were just our 4 incidences in New York State that the report addressed. So those are the key risks. I won't go through the rest of it because I think you've already reviewed it. And so I will leave it at that and ask you to discuss whether or not you're at a point that we can approve this and treat it as a final piece of work.
Well, I think what the task force, the work group had been asked to do is when this came up as to whether you know, whether we were going to implement some kind of zoning, codes for best is both tier 1 and tier 2. Tier 1s are the small ones that people maybe have at their homes, you know, in their garage or something that's being used for personal, up to the size of maybe, size of this table. I mean, something smallish, like, not even bigger than a garage or something like something. But then we've got these bigger ones. These are the utility scales. These are the big guys. And these are the ones that, obviously people have concerns about because it's just a lot more opportunity for something to go wrong. And if it does, and they're in close proximity, it becomes this chain event. So, and there were also some questions about the retardant or whatever you put on.
This presentation
Yeah.
does not address what code or zoning should we
No,
have.
This
It
was,
is just background information for the purposes of returning to the code and the zoning to say, well, there was a draft of something. Now that we have additional information, how should we change? Is there any changes we want to make to the
right.
draft?
And so what you asked was, what are the actual risks? What are the safety issues? How real are they? How often do they occur? How are other places handling them? You
I
know,
think we've got a good start on that.
Yeah.
In here.
Yeah.
I mean, I do too, but I'm not qualified to, I mean, my recommendation would be that these gentlemen work with our building department to review that code or whatever it
they don't
is.
have a code. Yeah, it would be
So-
using the state model code.
Okay, so then
But I think,
work with Lyle and,
I'm not asking for any code approval tonight.
right, no, I totally
We
understand.
wanted
You couldn't do
we
it.
just wanted to get the information out to the public.
Right.
So when
So I
it
think
does,
you did that.
when it does come up.
Well,
they
I
have something to
haven't,
look
I
at.
haven't shared this because I don't think I can share it unless the board which commissioned the study says, yes, this work product is acceptable as a final piece of work. So I've held back from distributing this because I don't consider it a piece of work from the town yet until you say it's a final piece of
Okay.
work.
so here's the purpose of the study, that what they've defined as their objective. To better understand utility scale best and the associated risk and reward. So the associated risk, I think, has always been fire.
Mhm.
Right? And I think one of the questions that had been raised previously was, other than cooling it with water, if you use any other fire retardant, you know, if they're PFAS or something, would someone come out and try to put the fire out as opposed to just cooling it? Would they try to douse it?
So that's the training, right, that the first responders receive on
And so
how
you're
to
saying-
respond.
Okay,
They do not use anything other than water, if they even use
is
water.
that in the model law or in this report that the state did? Is that it's water only, that it should not be anything else?
You know what, I don't think.
I'm
I
not
don't-
sure I can recall the
Okay.
I'm
details.
feeling
Let's
at
not-
this point, what we need is to, say, this is an incredible piece of research. Thank you very much. This has been a year in
Yeah.
the making, right? You don't list who is on this committee. It
I
just says.
do, it's in the backup page.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
I looked for it.
Yeah, it's
Fine.
there.
I think, I am ready to say that this is acceptable as a piece of public information and education with the full expectation that a lot of questions are gonna be generated, and then we will answer them. But I don't think it's fair to ask you to anticipate all of those questions. One thing I would hope comes out of this is, clearly, this is a hazardous event if the fire occurs because of all the ways in which that toxic stuff gets spread. So is there
Except
any,
that the state said it was not toxic.
well, okay. Is there, the risk is to the first responders.
That's the first risk.
So
right?
let's,
Because they're at the heart of it.
yeah, so is there a way we can say, if this ever gets to the point where we add it to our code, that one of the requirements of the developer, whoever it is who is building this thing, has to provide hazardous waste material, fire training to our first
Well,
responders?
Katie, I think the issue was with the code, was the initial code, the draft code, I guess we'll call it draft law, was that where these things can go. And the real problem is for the developer and for us, is that it has to be near a substation. Like you can't plop this thing on the ridge. it's too far away,
Right.
right? So the only people that are gonna be really impacted are the people that live in the residences around the substation, which is by North Ohio. I don't know if you know this,
So,
right?
yeah, I mean, we drive,
Correct.
right,
Right,
two
so
ninety-nine.
the, you know, the thing is in the law, you wanna just make sure that, you know, residences aren't affected. Right, because if there is a fire, God forbid, right, if something
Mhm.
bad does occur, hopefully not, it sounds like we're moving in a direction where, like, we don't think it's bad, but where you put it is important.
And that's something we had talked about way back. We said, shouldn't be in residential. We've got light industrial, should also have certain amounts of reasonably good setbacks from any kind of,
Right, it
You
has
know,
to be,
anything.
right, and that really, when you get to the code discussion,
yeah.
that should be the code
So the
discussion.
sighting. where
Because
the-
the developer, understand, has to run lines from the substation to the BES, right?
Mhm.
So. And they're all private companies, right? So they make money on this. So what happens is if they're right next door, that's great. But right next door might be a house. Right? If they're a
Who's living
mile
next to a
away, it becomes
substation?
less efficient, that's for sure, but it might be a little safe.
So to get to your question, Kitty, our code can be more stringent
Yes.
than New York State code,
Right.
but it cannot be laxer
Right,
than New York
okay,
State code.
that's,
So we can add anything we feel that
Right.
is
Right.
appropriate.
So that's still, I think the other thing is to get the rest of these proposed recommendations that the state's gonna be doing to finalize that in
Mhm.
January and see what else they've, what other restrictions they've built in to make, to deal with these, because it's not something that only New Paltz is struggling with,
right.
so.
so,
And I don't wanna take any more Randall's time, I know he wants to get moving. The only thing I'm gonna say is like, the planning board made a suggestion that we try to push through the type ones. And have the type two separate. And the reason that was because people wanna have these things in their homes. And it is good if you have a electric vehicle, which we want people to buy, right? But there's reasons to have them. That's why my thing was like, we wanted to try to separate those two things, cause what you're talking about is, like you said before, right? It's a massive undertaking. Whereas having someone have it in their house, right? Could be dangerous, but if it's done properly with code, with laws,
mhm.
right? It can be safe.
Well, I think that's the point I was making. I mean, if we're looking at this, the average person is gonna know why does this impact me? What is the impact for me? And
Well, that's another.
Well,
part of
there's
it.
two different
There's two different type
paths here.
systems.
The
Correct.
tier one,
I understand,
Yeah.
but
That was-
if you're saying that, people with electric vehicles may pop these things in, there needs to be some
Solar
kind of,
panel, if you wanna have a battery energy storage
Right.
system.
They already are.
yeah.
Right?
They're doing
Every EV
are they here at
today.
New Paltz?
They're everywhere.
Yeah.
In Europe, in the parking lot out here, there were 4 EVs. They
Yeah.
all have LFP batteries in them.
Okay, so the point is, we did already talk about this. Tier
Yeah.
one would be the easier one. There is part of the model law that has tier one. We asked that we get a draft that was streamlined. It's full of a lot of gobbledygook, and we haven't really gotten that. It's still full of a lot of gobbledygook. So it needs to be a real straightforward thing.
Who are we asking to draft that?
Just somebody.
Just somebody.
Mhm.
Well, there's a model.
There's a model, but
There's a model.
it's
It's got
expansive.
tier one and tier two in it.
Pull
Okay,
it
You
out.
can separate tier one from tier two, and you can push through tier one, right?
But
And
it's
then,
still, we did
So-
that.
So I ran the task force
Yeah.
Right,
on creating the local law
okay,
for tier 1 and tier 2. So I drafted it with this task force.
okay.
And that's what came forward ultimately to you 2 years ago and then to the planning board. And we said, okay, I guess yes on tier 1, let's go study the safety on tier 2.
Okay,
This is the study on
We
tier
just
2.
never got to yes on tier one because it wasn't as direct and streamlined as we'd like to have.
so does the tier one thing that we're looking for need to be a town law, or
Yes.
does it?
You don't need to do anything because tier 1 batteries are already being installed.
Yeah, but they're not being done,
Well,
They need to be,
What is
Well,
our
if
next
you'd like
step?
to
Is it go
regulate,
to the?
if you'd
like to regulate
Town-
Regulate. That's,
right now, there's no permit for them because there's no code.
What should we
Yeah,
do?
like, don't you need a permit for solar panels?
Yeah.
You should probably need a permit for BESS.
Absolutely.
well, didn't I
Okay.
say that's why it would make sense to sit with our building department and talk about those things?
This one.
so that was.
But whatever it is, they
For
need
the
to have a
care home.
conversation and we
So
didn't bat this around
part
here.
of the task force, the original task force was included permitting of tier one. I drafted the permitting form.
Okay.
Basically took the solar permitted forming and modified it to include batteries. That was part of what I submitted to the board, working with the building inspector at the time, who was Stacy. That was all part of what I submitted.
It was close. It just needed more
Okay,
work.
so
So
what
I
do we
got-
need to
So
do?
right now, let's do this.
Get
Let's
it.
not get back to that. Let's take care of
Yeah, you
this.
guys have-
This is
you guys
this
got
is
a lot
what's
to
on
do.
our agenda for tonight,
So what do we need to do? Approve this so that they can
Accept this
start?
report.
Okay, I move that.
that we accept the report.
Yes.
Make it be published.
I second Randall's motion.
Any discussion?
I think we did it. Yeah,
Okay.
all in favor?
Aye,
Thank
Okay,
you guys very much.
thank you.
thank you.
And we
Lots
will
of work went into that.
Okay.
I need
I
a
think we should
nature break.
regulate that.
So I'm.
I think we
Great,
should regulate it.
Take care.
Thank you.
guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
a nature break or just me?
No, because there's only one bathroom.
Well.
All right,
Now we're to the consent agenda.
we have enough people here. We can move on.
We do. Because it's a consent agenda.
Yep,
Do you have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
so moved.
Discussion? So I like to wait for.
Do
people
it,
to come
okay,
back
do
up.
it, do a second and then we'll do discussion, right? I second it, we'll wait for discussion. Any particular one?
Can we wait for Kitty's?
Yeah, no, we are. I'm just asking if there's a particular one. There's cookies in
Want dinner.
You want dinner? Okay. Chris, thank you for coming.
This
Um,
agenda is just horrendous.
you know, they all are, Randall. We
They
have too
need
much to
to,
do.
well, they need to be prioritized,
Well,
honestly.
darling, they are. This one's been, you know how long that one's been out there? He's been asking to come and do this for months. We can't just keep pushing them off and pushing them. Once we get through consent, we've done a lot of it. Then we just have to do the ones.
Mm.
Then we do these ones. I am going to ask at some point, because we got this comment about diesel versus, I'll wait till Kitty comes back.
Joe, make that come. And I'm
No.
assuming it's a vehicle for you, no?
No, it's for the recycle plant, but what's equivalent to a Chevy Silverado that would be non-diesel?
Chevy Silverado, that's gas.
It's gas instead of diesel.
Yeah, Silverado is just a package.
Mhm.
To, like pickup truck, right?
Yeah,
It's a little pickup truck like your guys drive, the white things.
Right.
That's all it is. It's a flatbed, two cabin.
not my place, but,
No, I'm just asking a general question.
okay, yeah,
There's gas and there's diesel versions.
what do they need to pick up? I'm hoping it's a dump truck.
Yes, it is.
But yeah, gas versus,
Diesel.
cost is a lot cheaper. For the
Yeah.
maintenance.
I think it's because it was a used one. We got it for 100,000 less than a brand new one.
I think that's a roll wall.
It is. No, there's two, there's different. ones. Okay, all right, Kitty's back. So we've gone on to the consent agenda and we've, had a motion and a second, and now we're doing discussion.
So I need to make an important comment about, 6A, approval of minutes of town board July 3rd.
Huh?
And 6B, approval of minutes town board July 8th.
Huh.
And let me first preface it by something uncomfortable that I need to say. I believe that SE and I are becoming victims of what I call a shadow government in the town board. That shadow government consists of Amanda, Randall, and Kitty. And that was demonstrated during this meeting when I went to the bathroom. The three of you had maybe made a decision before the meeting or during the meeting to appoint a chair of the police commission. And if you following, I don't know what the status is of chapter 34 anymore, whether it applies to this police commission that we currently have now. There's a discussion and for the position, and then it's voted among the group. That did not occur here. I went to the bathroom. Suddenly, the three of you decided that Randall would be the chair for the police commission. Then it was mumbled that it was temporary. Okay, so.
No, go ahead and finish, and I'll tell you.
That's part of what I want to say. More important, what I was going to address, and you're feeding into my fear of a shadow government in this board by the three of you, is what happened on July the 3rd and July the 8th, particularly July the 8th. I believe that the shadow government made a decision and excluded Essie and myself from whatever discussions you had. You came and it was a done deal, the three of you, to abolish the New Paltz Police Commission. That had never been a discussion that we had. The three of you made that decision. Similarly, with the resolution to abolish the police commission, I believe you're on shaky grounds. And I am in the process of getting a legal opinion. First, on the calling of the meeting under the open meetings law. I believe that you folks violated that by not letting us involved in any of the discussions that you had. And that second, the resolution that you then passed to abolish the police commission was improper, because we still have a law called chapter 34 for it. So there probably should have been a decision to abolish the law, to abolish the police commission, and that did not occur. So I'm going to vote no on these two sets of meetings for the reasons that I believe that Essie and I are being victimized by the three of you, and it's been going on for a long period of time, and that you're running the town board in ways that are excluding us too often, Essie and myself.
Okay, so let me just talk about the very first thing that happened. As we were walking out of the executive session, we didn't realize until we came into this room. Where's Edgar? Where's Edgar? In the meantime, someone was saying, who's going to call the adjournment of the executive session? And Randall said, will you do it? And I said, I'm not the chair. Who's going to be the chair? And so he said, well, I'll do it. So just for that purpose of calling the end of and then the action that was taken, it was simple. It was like that. There was no previous discussion. There was no collusion. There was nothing. And then we looked up and said, oh, where'd Edgar go? Maybe he's taking a bio break. Let's wait till he gets back. That was it. Edgar, we didn't realize you weren't right with us. And it was just a simple thing.
I was in the bathroom.
That's what we realized as we walked in, like we're looking around. So we waited for you to come, and Randall offered to do the action, and I said, fine. It
Now, I
wasn't like a
thought
decision.
we were still in the jury room when we did that. We were coming through the door.
Yeah.
It wasn't like we were in here and did it or sat in there and did it. We were.
Any discussion, so
I already stated my position. I'm seeking legal advice on these matters, and you're feeding it by making decisions such as that. And I had to object to it because it's consistent with a pattern that the three of you often meet in the town hall at Pierce. I go there and the three of you are often there.
That's not true.
No,
Not
sir.
true.
I've been there, and the three of you are there, and you're
No.
having conversations.
You have
That-
not, absolutely not, Edgar. That is not true. We go out of our way to make sure the three of us are never in the same room at the
That's
same
what I have
time.
seen. So
You
I'm-
have
I'm
not.
deeply
In
concerned.
that case, you need to bring.
You
us
need to
up on an
document,
ethics
yeah,
That is
you need to
wrong.
document
That's
that. please.
Listening to that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Actually,
can
no.
you document that you
What I-
walked into
what I-
the building and seen all three of us together?
Randall
What I am
and
exploring
Amanda
is
are in
legal
his
action.
office and
Not-
I open
not-
the
not-
door, they tell me you can't come in.
Who?
If Amanda and Randall are in her office,
I don't
And
know
I
how you
open the
do it,
door.
the three of you, I see
we
you there,
don't.
and you seem to be having
Edgar, that's a
conversation.
lie.
I've seen them.
No,
Well-
you have not. You
I
have
have.
not.
That's your imagination and I
Not my
resent the
imagination.
accusation.
Do not.
I resent the
You
accusation.
may resent
I,
that.
yes, I resent the
I don't know what
accusation.
explanations you talk
You
with.
And-
need to bring ethics
and-
violation
But I've seen-
immediately.
Oh, yes.
Right, I mean, we have an ethics board
I'm
and
definitely
you
for
are
the ethics
accusing us
board.
of a
They don't have
serious
power, okay?
ethics
I'm taking a
violation.
legal action under the open meetings law.
Take it to the ethics committee as well, they can act, they can meet and.
They don't
Let
have
it,
powers
let
to
it go,
have a
let it go to the, let it go to the open meetings people so
No,
that
no, no,
he
because
can
he's making an
document his.
allegation.
We can't document
Well,
anything, we've
then,
never done
but,
it.
I have a
exactly,
question.
so that is, that's,
Time and date that you claim the three of us met.
and I will also say that, the accusation that there's some shadow government and that you and Essie are not informed. I mean, I find it appalling that we get documents sent to us days in advance, the week before the meeting, and you guys start asking questions just like hours before the close of business each day or the day of the meeting. And so to say that you're not informed and you don't get this information or you don't have time to read it, that's not a justification to say that you're not being informed about things. How are you not being informed about things when you get it in the same email when Karen sends it out to everybody at the same time? And then choose not to read it and then ask questions the day before the meeting or the day of the meeting.
I'm not going to argue for rental.
Okay, that's fine. I just want to be clear that you're not getting information. And I'm in the office every single day. I'm in the office every single day.
Randall comes in and has lunch.
Apparently conversations have been going on in some combination.
No, I guess if you
Wait.
want, my lunch is not with Amanda. My lunch is with the controller, her staff, and that is it. And then I go into, whose office is that? Phoenix's?
Or Diane's or Phoenix.
Phoenix's office, and I'm working on annexation. I'm trying to come up with potential attorneys for annexation. I'm doing stuff for public access TV. So I don't understand what shadow government you think is going on, but it's a very vivid imagination. And I look forward to whatever suit you're gonna file and the evidence that you're gonna bring forward, since I think I've seen you in the office once, since I've been there at the end of February. And that was, I think, no, twice.
And the three
With
of us,
Sutton.
had conversations.
No,
They weren't discussions where decisions were made.
Apparently decisions were made to.
So that's the three of us. So that's gonna be in your complaint, right? That's different than me, Kitty, and Amanda. If it's the three of us, is what you're saying.
we don't talk about town business when three people are there. We know that's a violation. It's vouchers, okay,
It's
fine,
not,
here's
let
vouchers,
it,
here's vouchers, but
just let it go and let him bring whatever it is he wants to bring, because whatever. This is like amazingly childish. Can we move on?
I warned you about insults. Continuing insults now by saying childish.
Can we move on?
Watch what you say.
Can we move on?
all right, we had a
I'll expect
motion.
an apology.
The only time we were accused of being in violation of the open meetings law, as I recall, was at the meeting of Duzine,
I wasn't
which
there.
You weren't
Randall,
there.
I, and you attended completely coincidentally. But on our way out, we did happen to stand at the door, all three of us at the same time.
Mr. Londa was there too, I believe.
Who?
Joe Londa was.
Yeah, but
was
he's not
standing,
a-
right, but
Right.
we were
But you're
talking
right,
about
Joe Londa was
environmental,
there.
and it was,
That's
it
right.
was with regard to the
Electric school buses,
electric school buses and the potential closing of the
Duzine School.
Duzine School.
Right.
And
But
we were standing
essentially just on
together.
our way out, and Neil Batez walked out and said, you're holding an illegal town meeting.
You know, there are times when three of us are here putting this equipment away. It's not a meeting. We don't talk about anything. We're putting away the equipment.
I don't think we need to justify and explain it. I think we need to move on.
Okay,
I second that.
so where are we with the minutes?
So this is the consent agenda, and we had a motion and a second to approve.
Can you
the
break it out
consent
so I can
agenda.
vote no on A and B?
Sure. Okay, so, on the approval of the minutes,
6A and 6B.
6A and 6B. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm opposed.
Okay,
Okay, I just not understanding what.
Let it go. Let it go.
okay,
please.
Never
all
mind.
right, it's okay, so those minutes are approved with a dissenting vote. Right? That
I
will go in the record,
I believe they're illegal.
okay. Okay,
See,
okay, so the rest of the consent agenda, are there any questions or discussion on the rest of the consent agenda?
can we approve that
Yes,
on
That's
mass?
the whole idea.
Yeah,
yes,
C through
I
G.
move that we approve C through I.
Aye.
yeah.
Okay, I don't have an I in my version here.
Oh, okay, it got added.
So I have G. What's I there?
Okay, so I is the authorization to approve the replacement of 2 justice court copiers at the state price of a 60-month lease with 0 down, $297.50 per month. That's for 2 different copiers, an all-inclusive service agreement, and yeah, so it's
I'm okay with that. So
Very
it's,
good.
C through I, little I.
okay, very good. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great, thank you. Okay, the next one is authorization to approve the July warrant in the amount of $582,147.64. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
A second?
Aye.
Second, okay, on favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, authorization to modify the 2025 adopted budget as follows, and it's moving some money for the recreation committee from one line to the other for the charges for dance classes, and then for the police, they had erroneously put best purchases under equipment's large things like cars and things, it should go under contractual expense. So those are the two movements. I move that we authorize those, budget mods. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we took 9 out. 10, authorization to purchase a used Freightliner roll-off under state bid for the transfer station using unassigned fund balance not to exceed $140,000.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Well, it struck me when I saw $140,000 for, I think, a pickup truck. And I support the work they do there, I mean, it's a great operation they have going on. And the question was raised, can you have an electric vehicle? I just don't know.
Not
whether-
for this one yet.
Go ahead. This is not electric, this is.
It's the next one, yeah.
The
Okay,
next one is the Silverado. This is the
Sorry,
roll-off.
okay.
this one is a pretty big one that's like a flatbed and it's got this bin thing on it that they'll be able to use to pick up and move and then offload large quantities of compost or food
Right.
scraps and all that kind of stuff.
I mean, I support their operations, so I'll be okay with this.
Okay.
Number 10.
That's 10.
11 is just, a question.
Okay, well, let's do 10.
Yeah.
So, and this is under state bid, so it's the best price you can get. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so number 11, the Chevy Silverado, it's a diesel. Is it a diesel or is it's a 2024. I can tell you why it's a 2024 is because a brand new one costs $100,000 more. And this is a 24 and it's 100,000 less.
Is it a diesel?
On
You
25.
don't know.
It's 125,000, a brand new one is
I
227.
think this was leftover, if I remember Mike discussing
It-
this, so that
It
leftover, you
didn't,
don't get the pick, it's.
So
Right.
it's a use, do we know the mileage in it or?
It had the engine miles. It was not that much. I didn't bring it with me, but yeah, maybe it's in here.
Well, do they come, let's see, 2024 Chevys?
Here it is, right here. This is it, right here.
Have the specs on it?
This is a whole long bunch of stuff.
Say what kind of fuel it uses?
You have to jump, Chris.
No, not today.
Let's see, what it's got. It is a. Oh, it's a diesel.
4,500.
It's a diesel. And it's got a flatbed trailer. It's got the plow. It's got the dump, this big thing that it picks up stuff with.
I mean, it's like a dump truck also?
I think it's the better term would be a hook lift.
A
I
hook
think
lift?
that's what it is. Like a hook lift, so it's a chassis
Right,
that you can put multiple bodies on.
Right,
okay,
and it's,
We have two of them at the highway department.
okay.
it comes with this 12-foot dump thing, this.
Yeah, so you can put a dump body on it, you can put a flatbed on it.
Right,
Ours, we have a water tank for it, we have,
This is for
you know,
10,
one truck.
right?
multiple-
all of that, okay, that
This is
explains.
now we're on 11.
Does it say anything about mileage?
No, it doesn't. Wait, let me look up here.
If I
So,
remember correctly, it was just a leftover.
Yeah,
just
it
didn't get
wasn't-
Sold, so
Oh.
I don't think it was used, it was just a leftover lot, it didn't get bought
Okay.
in 24. So there, it's actually a year.
Oh, I see, so the
Model year.
dealer is pushing it out.
Right.
I believe so, I mean, I'm really not involved.
I mean, for 100,000 less, I thought, yeah, shoot.
What it was worth to begin with, probably.
Mhm.
That's probably his cost. Or close to
Probably
it.
already get rid of
Well, I
it.
mean, if you don't find the mileage, okay, I don't wanna hold this up.
oh, I can't believe we're buying a diesel vehicle and it's gonna be idling and idling.
No, this one isn't. This one's gonna be moving things around. This is gonna allow us to be able to move the compost and deliver it to places that want to buy it out in town and pick up food scraps from the school and other places. We start to really start that composting project really amping up.
Can you,
Kitty, I agree with you.
yeah,
It bothers me, okay?
Can you
If it helps you,
retrofit it
I
to
mean, that's
use
the added to
No,
it.
no, you can't.
vegetable oil?
Our
Most
last
people-
discussion with an environmentalist who sells diesel trucks or helps with diesel trucks is I could put 50 of the brand new diesel trucks in our highway garage and start them up, leave them run. And the 50 trucks combined put less emissions out than one diesel truck we had in the 90s. They burn so much more efficiently. That's why when the DEF systems go bad and all that, it's not $1,000, it's tens of thousands of dollars to fix it. But what's coming out of the exhaust pipe, then, this is the way I explained it, 50 of them I could put in the highway garage. Take one from the 90s, start it up, and that one from the 90s is putting out more emissions than all those trucks combined. So they've really come a long way with the technology to make them burn.
Well, there's that and the cafe standard has changed and all of that other stuff with the
They
emissions.
don't idle, I mean, they have automatic shutdowns, so
It's what
they idle for so long, they shut down within 5 minutes.
It might be why it says it's diesel particulate manual regeneration, so it's,
Yeah, that's the,
Recapturing.
that's the thing that costs $10,000-$20,000 when it goes bad.
so. So the one it's replacing the one he's got, which is a 90, it's really old. So it's replacing, an old truck.
Are we gonna take that old one out of, commission?
I don't think anybody's gonna want
Yeah,
it.
we put it out to auction. I would assume they're gonna put it out.
I might go
Okay.
for
I mean, there's no reason.
spares. It might go
So
for parts.
somebody else can,
We don't
Absolutely.
keep our old stuff, we keep it for a little while, just, and then it
okay.
goes away.
I mean, they may break it down for parts. It's so old, I don't know that anyone.
You'd be surprised, we do pretty well at auction. We make pretty good money though.
This one isn't gonna stay around if we don't.
Well, I will reluctantly make the motion to purchase the 2024 Chevy Silverado.
I second it.
Any more discussion?
Yeah.
All in
No.
favor?
I'm gonna,
Aye.
I'll support
Thank
them.
you. Okay.
They do good work there.
They do, and
But that's a warning, yeah, what you said about, it's like a catalytic converter, then,
it's
It's a
different,
particulate filter.
it's like it
It,
regenerates the exhaust.
it burns it again, or,
it scrubs it.
okay,
So when this big canister,
right,
it looks like a catalytic, it looks like a big honeycomb.
okay,
And
all right,
it burns at a very high temperature.
okay, thank
It's
you.
a more high-tech version of the thing, like when you go to the gas station and they have the nozzle with this,
Also fumes.
that captures the fumes and sends them back.
Mm,
It's that, except it's probably more, it's more advanced.
So we approved it,
Yeah,
yeah.
we did.
So we're on
Okay,
to number 12.
12, authorization to request Ulster County personnel to amend the account clerk title to account clerk secretary to better represent the job duties.
So moved.
Second,
Any discussion? All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Yeah, we got a pretty complete description of that.
Yeah. Okay, this is an important one. Authorization to temporarily pay Diane Fauci 4 to 8 hours per week over the course of 3 weeks to cover Joanna Dempsey, our recreation director's vacation. So she would be paid $25 an hour, not to exceed a total of 22 hours between July 28th and August 11th.
What does
And
she make now?
I asked,
She makes 25 an hour.
I asked Jean what line that was coming from, as the recreation personnel line, and the
Yes.
money is there, so I make the motion that we approve this.
Second,
Any more discussion? All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
It makes sure that someone will be there,
Yeah,
okay. Authorization to approve compensating the highway and buildings and grounds employees in the collective bargaining agreement who worked on December 5th and February 6th of December 5th, 24 and February 6th, 25, when the town offices were closed for snow days. Giving each employee in this collective bargaining group 2 comp days to be used before the end of this year, December 31st. The days sunset on December 31st, the employees have to use them or lose them by the end of 2025.
So just a question,
Yeah.
comp days, do we offer them a lot, do we use that a lot in our operations?
It depends on what the contract says and how they qualify for them, so,
I'm surprised that it comes to the board, I mean, usually I appreciate that, but this seems so.
well, this is
minute.
contractual.
it's a
Right.
special deal because, okay, first, should we make the motion and second it, we'll have the discussion,
Right.
okay? So I move that we do this. We have a second?
Second,
Okay, discussion. When there was the snow days, I said town hall's closed. All the people who are working don't go. But of course, the highway department has to go. They're the ones that are clearing the snow. So they don't get to not go to work. They must go to work. And they go do whatever's needed to take care of the roads on those days. And whether it means working all night or means working, 12-hour shift or whatever it takes. That's, their boss says this is what the roads need to have happen. So they are in the same collective bargaining unit as the guys out at the transfer station. And those people got to go home. They got paid for a day to not work. And so that caused a concern that the people who had to work didn't get a day off with pay. So this is what they're asking for these 2 days. And it will never happen again.
so do we cap comp days?
Some people are capped. There's some number,
Yes. 100 hours.
something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I can't remember what it
There's
is.
a lot of employees that request comp days versus overtime, so, but there is a cap.
So if we do this and somebody's capped, they essentially, what happens?
They don't get it.
They don't get it? I mean, it's like,
Or they would have to take it.
They have to take some days to be able to get it. Like they'd have to take
You have
off
to use-
8 hours to be
You
able
have to
to
use a
get it.
comp day to get a comp, to get the.
So, but we're talking
assume-
about a comp day, not a financial
No money,
payment.
right?
And if we don't do this, there's gonna be a grievance that we're gonna have to pay an attorney to defend us with, so.
Well, I mean, there's no objection. I mean, and we're not giving them physical money, but if they get a comp day, they're off and they're getting paid, aren't they?
To my knowledge, there's probably only one person that cap might affect.
So they could take a comp
And you
day
would have to just,
and
Eat
take
it.
another comp day.
or take a couple days.
Take a comp day.
Okay,
All right, and so this is, this is to try to be fair, and it's hard because it's a different unit than the staff who didn't come in, because the roads weren't good enough and, it was a bad, messy day.
Well, it's something to think about when you negotiate the contract again in a couple of years. These are
Mhm.
things that you note so that you don't keep, not you, but we don't keep making the same mistakes over and over again and just doing things perfunctorily. These are the little details in the contracts that need to be fleshed out so that we don't get caught in these situations.
Right. And it frankly didn't even occur to me because I didn't realize
yeah.
who was in what.
So, I move that we approve compensating the highway and B and
Do
D.
we already have a motion?
We already
No,
had that.
Shall we call the vote?
Aye.
Just a quick
We're-
question,
Sure.
it's kind of redundant. So it's not in the CBA, there's no reference in their CBA to the question of comp days.
It is in the
Yeah.
CBA.
Okay, but so if it's in the CBA, then this should be an operational question, I'm not sure why it's coming to the board.
What's in the CBA is they get comp days, they get overtime. And this is whether these 2 days that were declared snow days, that the employees who work not on plowing got off. And so it happened that some of those guys were in the same CBA as the guys that had to work plowing. And so it created this, in an imbalance.
And we didn't make the distinction.
Right.
If you plow snow, these days don't count for you because that's your job. That's essentially what it is.
And it was like, who's gonna come to the transfer station when the roads aren't clear and the road, it's bad, and so we said, fine, I wasn't really even thinking about it, I was thinking more about the town hall staff.
All right.
Call the vote?
Yeah, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Very good. Okay. Authorization to approve and endorse the application of Mohawk Preserve for a grant under Title IX of the EPA Act for a park project known as Strengthening the Shanga Mountains Trail Network. Okay, normally the supervisor can sign for, support letters for grants. They want a resolution. And so Rosanna, they need an actual resolution document.
Oh, have we done something like this before? Because then we could just use an old resolution.
Can we just take the thing they sent us and just put at the top?
Resolution.
Make it a resolution? They sent us a pretty detailed description of,
This is it right here. It says municipal, it isn't, we got one. This is it.
oh,
This is it. They sent it.
okay, they've sent it to us, so
Okay.
that's what we're being asked to
Okay.
approve.
So it's in our packet. So the resolution is offered by Councilmember Gatto, who moved its adoption, seconded by,
Me,
Leverett. And the question of adoption. So we are adopting is it be resolved. You can tell we didn't write this. This august body, that the town board of New Paltz hereby does approve and endorse the application of Mohawk Preserve for a grant under Title IX of EPA Act of 93 for a park project known as Strengthening Shanga Mountains Trail Network and located within this community. Further resolved that should not-for-profit being able to do so, said property shall be forever maintained by the town of New Paltz as a municipal park in this community, consistent with the rules promulgated by OPRHP. It's gonna be at Bonnecue Path, Northeast Trail, and Woodside Trail. This is all in the preserve. So,
Right, yeah, I saw that language about municipal land and none of it is.
right, so that should have not been, okay. So shall we adopt this resolution?
it's been moved and seconded, right?
Any more discussion?
Doesn't need to be roll call, does it?
Well, actually, it says, put to a vote on roll call.
Who says that?
Just
Them?
put these pieces, yes, they're.
Well, they don't get to tell us what to
Well,
do.
let's just do
It's their
it.
resolution, they have.
It's so exciting.
They need. a
We could do
resolution
it.
They just need it for the grant. Okay. Okay, Rosanna, you wanna call it?
Supervisor Amanda Gatto,
Aye.
Deputy Supervisor Kitty Brown,
Aye.
Sorry, jumped the gun.
Councilmember Edgar Rodriguez,
Aye.
Councilmember Randall Leverett,
Aye.
and
Thank you.
Councilmember Essie Lewis is absent.
Correct. Thank you. Okay. All right, the next one, accept the resignation of Officer Lenasia Dorsey effective July 18th.
So moved.
With
Second,
regret, I second.
Discussion.
discussion,
So I was involved in interviewing her.
Hmm.
She was part-time and becoming full-time, and so I'm troubled, wondering why. And the question that has been asked before is does she have an exit, July 18th is tomorrow. Will she have an exit
she
interview?
did already, she
She
came in
did.
on Tuesday.
Do we get feedback on that
Yeah,
somehow?
so personnel, Eileen Headley had the form and made all the notes and everything. The main thing we asked her, and she said, it was,
Do we need to, should we be talking
yeah,
about that?
no, I
That's-
think we shouldn't, I mean, we
And
do
it's
have
in the
that.
personnel records, and I
Yeah.
don't think
So
we should
we're
be
going
making
into
that
executive
public.
session again, or not?
We don't have it on here for.
Okay, to make the appointments.
We can decide about that. So, she was very nice, very kind, and it's, it's a better opportunity for her, so.
And I really need to know what happened.
Okay,
She speaks
Right, but not in
Spanish and
public.
woman of color, et cetera.
Yeah.
I
She
know
was
we
a
can have
real
it, but
asset.
if I can get the feedback, that would be
sure,
helpful.
yeah, that'd be great,
To understand.
okay.
Well, one thing to know is she'd welcome the opportunity to come back. So
She's just going for. We can talk about it, it's better paying, but stuff like that.
Okay.
All right, all in favor?
I,
Aye.
Okay, we now have approved the chief and the town board of police commission's recommendation to hire Patrick Ferry as full-time police officer at the CBA step 8, full-time officer rate, effective on or after July 31st.
so moved.
Quick discussion, just technical.
Uh-huh.
17 reads, approve the chief and town board's recommendation to hire. But then the next one reads, approve the chief's recommendation to hire. Does it matter, that wording?
Approve the chief and town board's recommendation to hire.
They both say the same thing.
What are you seeing that's different, Edgar?
What is,
Are you talking about 17 and 18?
Yeah, I'm comparing 17 and 18. I mean, I see the intention. I mean, we're going to approve it. Just wondering if that needs to be changed somehow.
So,
They both say town board's recommendation to hire.
Okay,
And
maybe
this,
I
and
have an old
18
version of
says
the
town
agenda.
board's recommendation to hire.
What I have is approve the chief and town board's recommendation to hire
It's a
for
different
17.
for 17,
There is a typo. Well,
Okay, so
Backward
I gotta talk
apostrophe.
about this agenda. I mean, I printed this from what was posted, I think, yesterday,
oh,
and so I'm not sure.
there may have been was there an
Yeah.
update? There was an update today. That might be where some of the miscommunication, because it changes like 3 or 4
I
times.
prepared very early on, and I
yeah,
assumed
but
that
it does get updated.
It gets
I mean, we
updated, so
added
that
the-
might be the
So
reason
maybe
that things,
Get a notice or something, there's an updated version.
well, I
It
think
works
she
on
sends an
that.
email.
Not on the updated.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
I-
she has.
I-
She has to,
post it
because
in the-
it comes in the portal, so she sends one, and then whatever she does with it, then we get another,
Right.
I
Email.
actually printed out everything I had to it this
And
afternoon.
that's, I think, the difference for you, is that you like to print it out and we're all sitting here, so
Right.
I can look at this an hour before I come to the meeting And that's the most recent version. And if you printed yours yesterday, then it's not the most recent version, so. But yes, I mean, the good trouble resolution.
It's
got added.
been corrected then. The
Yeah.
new wording is there.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it
Exactly
says,
identical, just different names and different, steps, so they're, specific.
So,
and it's just a typo in 17 with the apostrophe in boards,
the town.
which is mine.
Oh, it's backwards.
It's backwards, but
Ooh.
it's a big.
Ooh.
I don't know how that happened.
I don't know.
Oh, it's a quote. It's probably a quote. She probably hit
Okay.
the quote thing.
So do we have the motion?
For 17,
I moved it.
somebody second it?
I'll second.
Any more discussion on 17? All in favor?
I
Okay. 18.
so moved.
To hire Richard Farah
As a full-time police officer at step 2, full-time officer rate, effective on or after August 1st.
So moved.
Second? I second it. Any more discussion?
No.
All in favor?
I
Okay, great. We already did 19. Liaison, department head reports, as always, I, urge everyone to read them. These folks are doing a lot of stuff and it keeps you really up to date on what's happening. On liaison reports, we only had the one. Thank you, Kitty. What we really need to see here is the things they're going to bring or ask the board about, not just, everything that's probably in the minutes or something. So it looks like they're going to be looking at a website and changing a law and developing a 10-year plan that they'd like to.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, part of that is stuff that they're going to be coming to us for.
Yeah.
They are, really wanting to upgrade their website. However, this is the commission that brought to my attention that our entire town website is really not in compliance with New York State government website criteria. So,
Can you
know,
tell us where that, you did that?
that's, so, but they want to update their section of the website.
Let me ask a question there, because in reading what is that magazine that we get as town board members?
Yeah.
Supposedly, they're all supposed to be changed by at the end of December.
They're only supposed to
So-
change from .org to .gov.
Right, but it also has some requirements for what types of things need to be on it. At least that's what I read. I mean, it was a full-blown article, and you didn't necessarily need a full-blown article to say you need to change your website from .org to .gov. There were some specific things that needed to be on the website, so I don't know if, I'll see if I can find that.
Pay $4,000 a year to whatever that thing is in the bottom corner of our website to manage it. Maybe we should, talk to them.
Okay, sounds good.
And the public access, their meetings kind of fall after
I know.
Karen calls for the thing, so
Yeah.
I can't put it in. But there's, movement on the charter thing there. The group is happy with the changes. I do know that one of the things that they agreed to was upgrading the service to high def, which was a big thing for them, which would improve the quality of, the visual quality for the channel. And so we're looking to finish ironing that out, or they are looking to finish ironing that out. And then hopefully we can bring it here for people to take a look at and move it along. But it's crawling along slowly but surely. It's a lot farther than it was in February, so it's good news.
Okay.
And Edgar, you're our liaison to recreation.
Recreation, right.
And it looks like a lot of the complaints that were brought to us last month.
Yeah, and I reported out on it the last
Yeah,
meeting.
being resolved. Chris has been out there with clay and doing,
No.
wait, says something about this. Wait a minute.
Dirt.
Oh, I will be providing infield clay to both parks.
Haven't trucked it. My last conversation with Joanna was, she was gonna order it and have it brought.
Oh, you're right. It says I and it's from Joanna. So it's
Right.
not you. Okay,
Right.
okay.
It has to be ordered, right? And we haven't gotten anywhere with that scoreboard thing, when you go back and look at that.
Okay, all right.
And the bike path committee, is there anything from bike path?
No, they don't meet during the summer.
You would think they would.
They're off
I
bicycle.
know, they're off bicycling, that's why. They're not doing that in the winter.
Okay, and CBA, anything for CBA?
I reported extensively about the last meeting.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, the planning board, as we know, they're not having their meeting, they had meeting on Monday, and then the next one that's coming up, the 28th, because of, lack of quorum, they canceled it. There was one application, I guess, that was pending, so I was kind of, hopefully we were able to help them with that.
So is there any reason not to make those appointments tonight so they can get started on a quorum?
I'd like to discuss them more,
Okay,
but not now, not tonight.
Well, the next, the
They
next
can
meeting
wait
we
till the
have is
next
August
meeting.
7th.
Well-
That's our next meeting.
All right,
I can tell you that also we have been, we have identified some potential candidate firms for the planning board, law firms, and that the existing firm is dissolving and going away. So, we're in the midst of trying to contact those, a couple of them and make the list shorter so that we can go with that. Okay, anything else?
no,
I would like to go into executive session for 5 minutes to understand why one of the items was removed from our
I
agenda.
didn't hear that. What are you saying?
number 9,
Yeah,
I think
Potential
that's
conflict
easy.
of interest.
yeah,
Potential conflict of
oh,
interest.
okay.
yeah. And I'm looking at another,
I see. Oh,
that's,
okay,
yeah,
okay, thank
Okay.
you.
All right, so do I have a motion to adjourn?
so moved.
Second? I'll second it. Amanda, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. 9:30.
Wow.
We've been here since 6. Turn off
What's
the,
that? I could hurt, not sure.
Yeah.
Get tired of
And the
your
mic.
lights.